All right. All right.
In just 1 minute, sir.
Okay. And ma'am, can you tell me how many keynote speakers are there? I think there is only one.
So we have one keynote speaker and
Right.
session chair. You
Okay.
have, along with Aarti ma'am, you are the session chair, and we have Manohar sir as the
Right.
keynote speaker of today's session.
Great, great.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Only sir, Arhan sir, you are from Nepal?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
My yeah.
Nepal the both
Topi shows.
Right.
Right. Yeah. I know you. I've gone through your papers sometimes on the Valentine's. Yeah. I was also I was a journalist in the past. I was with National Jordan in English Daily for 15 years as editor.
Okay, all right.
So
which
anyway,
Himalayan Times?
No, The Rising Nepal.
The Rising Nepal.
Right.
Okay.
So
Rising Nepal, I think for it's equivalent of the Indian Times, I think, right? Something
Times
like
of
that.
India, yeah, probably.
Times of India.
Times of India.
Is there something equivalent to that?
It
for
was,
friends.
The publication started in 1965, long back.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway.
So you actually Tribhuvan University or?
No. Now I was with Tribhuvan University, but now I'm with Nepal Open University.
Open University.
Promoted by Nepal government.
Okay. Is it Shilu Maran as the member there?
Sorry?
Shilu,
oh yeah. She was with us.
Oh, she's no more there?
Yeah, right. But now her tenure expired last July. Yes, okay. July. Right. Okay, so you know her.
Sir. Yeah, I know her. Very close. She's a very good friend of mine.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Sir, we want to seek your permission for starting the session. If you give the permission.
Sure, sir.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you, sir. Please.
First of all, I would request all the participants to kindly mute themselves. Okay, please unmute yourself when you are asked to do. Otherwise, keep yourself mute. And now, with the permission of the session chairs and keynote speaker, I would like to proceed with our today's session. Research must continue to be the centerpiece of intellectual life, and our commitment to research must always grow. Very good afternoon to all the respected panelists and dear participants. I, Assistant Professor Khyati Nayak, on behalf of Prestige Institute of Management and Research, Gwalior, welcome you all to Technical Session 5, Track 4 of the PIMR 13th International Conference on Industry 4.0 and Key Drivers of Sustainable Global Business Practices, co-hosted by Association of International Business and Professional Management, Indonesia. Without any further ado, I would like to introduce the gathering to the session chair and the keynote speaker for today's session. I would take the privilege to introduce our session chair, Professor Arhan Stapith. Professor Arhan Stapith is currently working as a professor at Nepal Open University. He is PhD in management from JNU. He is a practitioner turned teacher. Earlier, he has provided his lecture in Tribhuvan University for 8 years and worked at 2 foreign JV commercial banks in Nepal for a period of 6.5 years. He has also provided services as Senior Associate Editor of English National Daily for 15 years and GTZ for 11 months. Professor Arhan is also associated with editorial of 7 peer-reviewed journals, including International Journal of Management Study. Professor Arhan has key interest for writing and research on international business, HRM, and strategic management. Professor Stapith is well recognized as an author, English editor, and university academician, significantly contributing to the national life in Nepal. Professor Arhan has also been awarded by the President of Nepal for merit of award of PhD by Nepal Vidya Bhushan Class A. I welcome you to the technical session 5 of 13th International Conference, sir. Now, I would like to introduce our next session chair, Dr. Aarti Saini. Dr. Aarti Saini is an assistant professor in Department of Commerce, University of Delhi. Dr. Saini is presently working at Shahid Bhagat Singh College. She has over 13 years of teaching experience. Her area of specialization is marketing. Her area of interest is advertising, consumer behavior, social media, and service marketing. She completed her doctoral degree in management in the area of celebrity endorsement and brand association. She also worked in area of advertising. She has also completed a certificate course on becoming an entrepreneur from MIT and also certified by the University of Edinburgh in marketing tools to set enterprises apart. Dr. Aarti has presented her research papers in the field of advertising, service marketing, stress management, RTI, celebrity studies, and influencers marketing at many national and international forums. She has also received the Young Researcher Award 2019 at an international conference. She has many publications in the journals of repute. She has reviewed number of papers in reputed journals and also for many national and international conferences. The Council of Management of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing has appointed her as the Associate Editor 2020 India for the editorial board of the inaugural South Asian Journal of Marketing, Emerald Publishing. In 2021, she has been appointed as editor of SAJM. Dr. Saini has recently been invited by the University of Tehran Faculty of Entrepreneurship Study as a resource person for a semester in 2020, where she delivered lectures on business plans and models. She has delivered many workshops in various universities in research methodologies. Dr. Aarti believes that this life is precious and is meaningful only when we attempt to make it meaningful by giving back to society. She believes in sharing knowledge and also believes that we get an opportunity to learn every day, but with the vision to expand the dimensions of our life. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. Next, I would take the opportunity to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Manohar Manchester. Mr. Manohar Manchester is a prize management consultant, trainee, writer with 20 years of experience in over 24 organizations, as well as highly effective trainer to hundreds of companies and colleges. He has published over 200 articles on management in various national dailies. He is a chief consultant of dozens of organizations in multiple sectors on a retainer basis. He is also in the training circuit, providing both in-house training and public workshops. He is a columnist and publishes weekly in the national daily, the Himalayan Times. Educated as a mechanical engineer from the reputed University of Kathmandu, he found his calling somewhere else and what can be called vaguely organizational development. He realized that there were tremendous contributions still needed in this field. He is a prolific writer with knowledge he gained through thousands of books he read, through his thousands of interaction with people and various circumstances, and through the inspiration he gets from his inner self. As a management consultant in Nepal, he has devised a unique formula for success, both for his tenure and of the organization. He coaches the CEO, MD of the organization on a weekly basis, one-to-one. He chairs various departmental and interdepartmental meetings, chipping in his world-class training. He designs systems to manage workflow, re-engineering, and data management. He has lived and traveled over a decade abroad, exposing him to multiple cultures, mindset, and walks of life. His innate ability thus to synthesize practical reality with the theoretical framework to solve problems, make any form of interaction with him, be it in writing, in consultation or training, an enlightening and a kind of liberating experience. Welcome, sir. We welcome you in today's session. And with this, I would also like to invite our keynote speaker to enlighten the participant with his worthy words. Sir, please.
Thank you very much. Namaste, everybody. My name is Manohar Manchester. Due to some clash in my schedule, I have to take a flight at 5:30 and I have to leave quite early in several minutes. So I'll take a short, with the permission of the chairpersons. I'm just taking a few short on my speech. So I've read I think I've read about 10 of the reviews, 10 of the papers that I've received, and they're all relevant. And what I feel is in the field of management, there is so much things to be done. People think that whatever innovation, whatever leap can be made, it can be only made in science or maybe economics. But from your papers, I realized that the young generation of management students are still looking, are still able to find, are still able to make hypotheses, are still able to question management paradigms, and they are still able to find new management loopholes that needs to be improved. And reading those papers inspired me. For example, I just quote on some of the papers that might be yours, it might be someone else's, but still relevant. For example, the corporate social responsibilities. There was several papers on corporate responsibility and the effects on the profitability of the company relation, and so I found it. These are very relevant topics, and that's very, very, very good. Then there were also very insightful paper on the relation between FDI and the GDP and literacy. So overall, I think that for new generation of management students who are trying to find a key to leave an impact in the world, you've got to understand that, your papers is a foundation for something bigger. Now, I want to inspire you by telling you that many of the great writers that we know, for example, Tom Peters, In the Search of Excellence, it was a long time back, a book of the 1980s. He studied about 10 companies, like many of you have studied, and he made a paper, and now that paper is a multi-million copy selling book. One of the book about that we know many people know is Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. Well, that was made from a paper like you people have written a paper for educational paper, and many books, great books, started with a paper. So what I find in the academic sector is people write paper just for the sake of recognition, or people write papers with the hope that that will lead somewhere. But what I suggest to you people is write papers for the sake of knowledge, for the sake of discovery, for the sake of hypothesis, proving hypothesis or proving it wrong, for finding something. And if you can do that, I want you to think that maybe one day your paper can become a book, and it can benefit so many people. Myself, I've benefited from so many books by those writers, and who started as students of masters or PhD, and they developed that into books. So the world wouldn't be the same without those things. And those universities who have sponsored them or financed them, I salute these people, the patience that they had. So I believe that universities are doing a great job, and they should do more diverse topics. Maybe myself, I've got so many ideas to write books and to start with papers, but it doesn't fall into any segment, single category. And I just, for myself, I read a lot. I read in a year, I read about 100 books, and that's a lot of books. But my problem is I can't find a field in which to put my hypothesis, put my area of interest. But that said, what I'm saying is, I would say that I'm not that lucky in that I could find my field. But you people have got found your field, and The research that you have made is very remarkable. A lot of data analysis, some have used just secondary data, but even the secondary data, like in the FDI part, was very well maintained, was very well done. And for example, also in the context, there was one very insightful paper I found was about the good governance and how the relationship between good governance and I think it was the good governance and the performance of the company. That was very interesting for me. I mean, basically what you're saying is, if you let the people work on the independently, you're going to make more profits. So anyway, I found it quite interesting. I found there are some questions I had, but maybe if I have the time, I will ask from the airport. But anyways, so these are very, very important things. And my dear colleagues, my dear friends, you have a great opportunity to belong to a university, and your God has endowed you with such great intelligence to write such wonderful papers. Keep it up. But one thing I want to challenge you. Why can't you be the next Tom Peters? I'm not only talking about American writers. We have many Indian writers. I forgot a few names, but there are so many. I read many Indian writers who are writing, Asian writers who are writing international sellers, by booksellers, and we should start. And the secret of the Western education, I think, is a law of numbers. There are many, many people writing many, many papers. Among them, even if it's 0.1%, that's 1,000 books a year. So for myself, as an avid reader, as a voracious reader, I just hope that, I just pray that, I just inspire you, I just challenge you, whatever you call it, that you people turn one of your papers into a book. At least turn it into a newspaper, magazine article, something that can be published for the general population. Now, myself, I've been a writer in the national dailies of Nepal. I haven't written internationally, unfortunately, but it's quite competitive. As Stapith sir, my colleague in Nepal, might agree. People are very choosy, and their level of understanding is a bit low. So you've got to write in very colloquial, very report language. And the biggest complaint that my editors have been telling me is that people write a lot of good stuff, but they don't write it for the general public. They just write very academically. So maybe many of you have got finding a lot of good findings, but those findings, if you limit them for just a degree, for just your academic performance, then that's a shame that all that knowledge is lost. I just challenge you that you rewrite those things. Either if you can make them into a book, make them at least into a good article that a general mass, that your father, that your mother, that your brother, that your friend, that your businessman colleague, that your employee who's just struggling in his career, that your finance manager, that your CEO can understand. So a lot of good stuff, and I've read them. I just make a quick comment on some of the questions. Some of the things that I would like is there was one paper about neural marketing. So I just wish that I could. The research involves more about the real. I mean, you could get some insight, some interviews from someone actually who's being paid to do neural marketing. If you could find that, I think that was absent, and maybe I just omitted that, but that's so you could make it more insightful, all those things. And there are so many good things from all those things. And for me, one new thing was the term ESG, environment, some social governance or something. I just missed that, but it was very interesting for me. So overall, Prestige Institute of Management has doing an inspiring job, is doing a great job to invite knowledge seekers, knowledge producers from all over the world, and put them in this platform. And I don't know if Indira Ma'am will be listening to this, but I want to thank Indira Ma'am for recognizing me, because I'm an unknown. I mean, I'm not an academician. No one knows me in the academic field. I'm just a professional guy who just post some online videos and I just a bit reader, a bit researcher, and she found me, and I think that's a culture of that PIM has. And she gave me this exposure. Kathy ma'am, you gave me this floor, our host, Dr. Amita, you gave me this host. So I'm really fascinated by your culture, by your, what should I say, impartiality and your respect towards people who are in the path of knowledge. And I hope that next year I'll be able to attend physically. And I'm just so highly honored that you give me a few minutes of your time. It's a great honor. Thank you very much, India ma'am. If you're watching this video one day, and Kathy ma'am, Amita sir, no discrimination, and yeah. So this is a great opportunity for me to speak. So on this note, I would like to end my keynote speech. Thank you very much, Kathy ma'am. Hand over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your enlightening words, and I'll surely convey your message to Indira ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
She'll get to know about all the appreciation that you did in today's session. And we are also looking forward to meet you in the next international conference. And we will continue to do the same kind of endeavor that we are doing in field of research. And now with the permission of session chairs, I would like to start today's presentations. So can we start with today's presentations?
Yes, of course. Okay. So Kathy ma'am, yes. Could we first talk something about the guidelines issued by?
Yes, sir, sure. I'll repeat the guidelines.
Shall I tell them short, very briefly?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Please, sir.
Okay, so very briefly, give me a minute or two. Okay. Once again, good afternoon and namaskar from Nepal. Nepal, the country of Mount Everest and the birthplace of Lord Buddha, the light of Asia, who champions the global peace, so important in today's world. So I'm addressing and sharing this session from Kathmandu. The weather here is cold, of course, though we are having pleasantly warm, sunny days here. I hope the weather in Gwalior is also pleasant now. I had visited twice, 2018 and 18 and 19, I guess, during this the 9th and 10th international conferences. Okay, so it's the 13th international conference this year. So the presenters should follow the presentation format that has already been shared by the organizers. So some of the key guidelines here are like the presentation time is 10 minutes, followed by the question answer session of 5 minutes only. So time management is very important. So presenters should focus on basically problem statement, study objectives, methodology, and data results. And they should try to avoid lengthy introduction or background part. So we discourage them to speak more on that lengthy introduction part that not required. So it's mandatory for the presenters to keep their videos turned on during the presentation. Very important, okay? And the judgment of the panel will be final. Any argument with the panelists or panel will call for disqualification from the track. So one top presenter will be elevated as the best presentation track, which will be informed to the presenter by the end of the day. So the criteria, or the big five, I would say, the big five criteria for evaluating the papers include quality of presentation and time management. Number one, first criterion is presentation and time management. Second one is the quality of research gap. Third, the quality of research methodology, and then quality of result and discussion part. And finally, the quality of implications and significance of the results. So the presenters, I hope, will comply with these guidelines and help us make this session lively and fruitful. So Today we have the rapporteurs of this session, Dr. Amitabh Maheshwari sir. We had met each other during my visit to Gwalior twice in the past, and we also we have Dr. Amitabh Maheshwari sir, who is also the coordinator of Become Honest at PIMR, and we have co-rapporteur, Assistant Professor Khyati Naik, who is with the Department of Law of PIMR. I hope our rapporteurs would coordinate with us and help us take this journey towards the happy ending. So over to you, Khyati ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So all the participants, as sir has already briefed you about the guidelines for today's presentations. So I would like to start with the first presentation of the day, and that is IC07. Serial number of paper is IC07. And the title of the paper is Corporate Social Responsibility, CSR, Review of Literature. And the author of the paper is Dwarkanath Siriguppi. So, sir, can you please start with your presentation? I'll give you a host, right?
Yes. Can I start sharing? Yeah.
So 1 minute, so we will provide you the host, right? And you can start sharing. Yes, sir.
Please, sir.
Amitabh sir.
Yes, sir.
Would we have anybody to keep time and then inform us, like they notify the session about the time remaining? Probably if when it struck, it would strike the 7th minute or the 9th minute.
Yes,
and
sir.
then
Definitely, sir. We are happy.
that is so good. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead. Yes, Dwarkanath sir, please go ahead.
Dwarkanath sir, you can share your slide.
Yes, I am trying to share. Hope it's visible now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good afternoon, one and all. Myself, Dr. Dwarkanath Siriguppi, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Marketing, ICFA Business School of IBS Hyderabad. So my topic for this conference is Corporate Social Responsibility, Review of Literature. I just began paper. I have not completed it, but I just want to give some highlights about my paper, which I'm still continuing. So as far as this particular title is concerned, Corporate Social Responsibilities, Review of Literature. And the key words are CSR evolution, how it has evolved over a period of time, and social responsibility, corporate behavior. Then just some of the authors have given different definitions on CSR. So I have taken some of the authors' names here, right from Wilson, Kotler, and Lee define, and Agri and Ralston, and they have defined in a different way. So as far as the CSR is concerned, definitely many companies are really able to follow the CSR guidelines, because CSR has become mandatory, not only in the Indian context, also across the globe, right? So though it is not that new concept, it is there since ages. And if you take the right from the Indian corporate world, Tatas and Birlas, right? So way back, they have started this showing interest in the CSR. And it is all about what companies can offer to their ecosystem, particularly the community, society in general. So definitely, this is the need of the hour, as long as the companies are trying to spend that much money on the CSR activities, because it is a big concern for all of us as far as the natural environment is concerned, because preservation of the natural environment is really, really the need of the hour. And of course, what kind of emphasis the firms need to give, right? So on human rights, so there is no violation of human rights. And of course, ethical standards, because as far as the business ethics is concerned, CSR is an definitely a part of the business ethics course, normally in most of the universities across the globe, right? So definitely it is playing an instrumental role, and it is also bringing some changes, and paradigm shift is happening, already happened, and companies orientation towards the social orientation has begun, and it is being continued. So that's why most of the companies, right from the bigger MNCs to the smaller companies, every company is trying to pay some attention towards the CSR activities. That's what the companies are also looking forward for the what do you call that, corporate citizenship, because it is very important that they have to be accountable, they have to be responsible for all their activities, right? So that there is no adverse effect of their activities on the society as in general. So the basic objective of this course, that's what I was trying to say, that I have not yet I just began the paperwork, but it is still in the process. I just want to understand the evolution of the CSR, how it has begun, from when it has begun, and how it has evolved over a period of time. So because it has been evolved since long time. So that was the main objective. And in that case, I just took some of the papers and I started looking into their review of literature. And as far as this particular, methodology is concerned, definitely I have selected some databases from database sources like Ibisco, then Google Scholar. And the main intention, I just zeroed up as of now 10 papers from different ABDC Scopus list of journals, right? So right from the business ethics journals, then Journal of Marketing, and different journals I have taken into account. Right. So this is one such, as far as the methodology is concerned, I just confined as of now 10 papers. Still, I want to pursue many more. So as far as this particular work is concerned, I'll just mention here. Just give me 1 second. Right. So it's very important that I have considered journals from different authors, right from John Peloja, Journal of the Academy of Marketing and Science, and particularly that particular paper has recognized CSR activities into the broad categories. So one is philanthropy and business practices, or product-related philanthropy. And moving on to the other paper which I have taken into the consideration, Shalini Pavan Kumar, Journal of Business Ethics. This is talking about CSR research in the terms of research methodologies and what actually the shift, how it has happened during last few years, and much more emphasis on the what the contemporary issues pertaining to the CSR. Then the other paper also I have considered Dina and Natale, Journal of Business Ethics. It is very, very important that this trust is not really, actually as far as the trust is concerned, definitely all stakeholders need to understand, and there need to be a trust between the company as well as the stakeholders, including the customers and community in general. So another paper, Muhammad Omran, Journal of Accounting and Financial Reporting. It is all about talking about the legitimacy based on CSR studies and what are the malpractices that have come to limelight and how we can minimize those things. Because it is very important that I was rightly pointing out that it is part of business ethics course. Definitely there is no scope for such activities as such. Right. So then another paper, Ang's Cole, Academy of Management Perspective. This is talking about international business literature, because how cross-global it is happening, but not pertaining to one country as such, definitely across the globe. And it is talking about mainly on the developments that are happening in the international context, particularly we are all living in the globalized era. So a lot of complexes have come up. Business has become so challenging. And at the same time, how these companies are also managing their activities pertaining to the CSR activities, because your presence is in multiple locations. And another paper, Hakel Luthman, a Journal of Agriculture, and how agricultural, because environment, because we all talk about today environmental degradation, how this particular environmental degradation problem need to be addressed, because it has become very serious. And what is happening, we all know that unprecedented rains, sudden floods, right? So sudden weather conditions are changing, and cyclones are hitting at regular intervals. So I think this has become a big concern across the globe. And the other one, because it is impacting a lot on agricultural output as well, right? So that's one paper. Then Annie Kathan and Sustainability Accounting Management and Policy Journal. And this is talking about systematic review of literature review, how it has evolved over a period of time. And one more paper, Natasha, then Clement, Journal of Business Ethics. This is talking about the process between the CSR communication and how this is being actually taken into the account, and how it has evolved over a period of time.
Sorry to interrupt, sir, but you have 2 more minutes to go.
Yes, thank you. So as far as these papers are concerned, I took from 2010 to 2020. As of now, 10 papers I've considered, but I would like to add few more papers before I go for the final publication. So as far as this particular conclusion, I'll move on to the conclusion. And yes, so as far as the future research is concerned, what I believe in that, definitely some of the papers what I have gone through it as far as the part of the literature review survey, and I didn't find any specific paper on the CSR activities in a particular industries wise. So maybe I didn't find that as far as this particular review of literature papers I have taken into account. So probably that could be the future scope for research, so that it can be done as per the industry wise also. So as far as the conclusion is concerned, definitely it has become an integral part of the business strategy, and it is not just aiming for a long-term benefit, but also it is your responsibility as a company to do something to your society, right? So definitely nowadays firms are taking up very, very seriously as far as and they are also involving the employees, including all the big IT companies are also manufacturing companies are also, they're involving their employees to take part in the CSR activities. So that has become very, very important, that so that ultimately the objective behind all these activities to satisfy all their stakeholders. So this is very, very important, that, and definitely this is more useful for the future managers and aspiring entrepreneurs who are all planning to start their business, right? So that's all from my end. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Now we have 5 minutes for the question answer session.
So the floor is open for questions. Is there any question?
Okay, namaskar. Can I make a question?
Sure, please go ahead.
Namaskar, everybody, especially Dwarkanathji.
Yes.
Okay, so your study seems to be. Yeah, I'm Sushil Awale from Tribhuvan University, Nepal.
Nepal, okay.
So I'd like to ask, what are the major issues of corporate social responsibility in your locality?
Major issues. So in a particular locality, I can say that maybe today a lot of, I think as far as the Indian context is concerned, because the poverty is the major thing, right? So I think people are not able to access the basic facilities of health and education. So I can say that the companies have really taken a lot of initiatives and to provide basic education facilities and health facilities. That is one area they can really look into that. And not only that, the degradation of the forest, and of course I need not say that how people are merciless as far as the cutting of the trees are concerned, including our major cities as well as even towns, and of course what kind of deterioration is happening as far as the environment is concerned. And if you take the neighborhood localities also, you take Hyderabad, known for its lakes, tanks, right? So, but most of the lakes and tanks have been occupied by maybe constructing some buildings in that. So it is really damaging the entire ecosystem. It's not just in Hyderabad, it is happening in other parts of the globe as well, particularly in other cities of India. So that is one worry as far as I think these role definitely the government cannot alone take all these issues, and definitely the government can involve the corporations, and definitely those corporations can come forward and they can divert some of their energies, including their funding, to the projects, and that would definitely help to some extent. So that's what as far as the pertaining to the problems to the local thing is concerned. That's what
thank you, Dwarkanath sir.
Thank you, Dwarka sir.
Thank you, Sushil sir. Thank you very much for the question. I would like to have our Dr. Aditi Saini ma'am. Aditi ma'am, are you there? Ma'am, could you make some remarks on this paper?
Yeah. Dwarkanath sir, thank you for your presentation and thank you for completing it on time. So I won't ask you a question, but I would give you a few suggestions.
Please.
So I see that you have you're working on research like a review paper.
Yes.
So I'm sure like you want to publish it. So I will give you some suggestions how you make it publishable.
Please.
So I know you are at very like initial stage, but
yes.
I think it's the right time for you to decide how you want to like direct your paper. Yes. Maybe you may wanted to do some like SLR, or because there are a lot of studies which have already been done in corporate social responsibility, yes. And many of the companies, as you just said, is already working in this, and there's like certain percentage which is already going at CSR.
Yes.
So please direct your paper at this initial stage, whether you want to do a SLR or bibliometric analysis. You can also have case research method. Maybe, like talking about some company and how they are working on this. It can be a case research method. There are a lot of papers which are available in, in different platforms, Scopus or maybe some other. So yes. Define it, right?
Yes.
For the methodology part, I would like to say, please try and restrict your keywords to because when you are, like presenting your paper, when you're writing your paper, the methodology part is very, very important.
Yes.
In that case, you are supposed to write like what are the keywords which you have given and from which platform you have, like selected the paper. I would recommend you not to select paper from the Google Scholar. Rather go to some, like Scopus or some Web of Science platforms where you can search for your papers, because that is very, very, very important. The chances of acceptance of your paper will be more. And try to have some landmark studies, like when you are starting your literature review, it's not about like starting from 2010 to 2020, but you need to grab the theory from like how it came, how this concept came. There are landmark studies into this, like from the journal like Business and Society. There is a paper which is cited more than, like 11,900 times. So you just try and identify these landmark studies and why, what are the reasons why they're being cited. So just identify them and put them in your paper, create a storyline, because it's like a story which everyone will be reading. Yes. So I hope that you should just take this into consideration, and I hope these points should be application process. It's a long journey, and my best wishes to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aarti madam, for your valuable inputs. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Aarti Saini ma'am. Wonderful, well articulated. Yes, you spoke my mind and many of the things I wanted to share here. Yeah, of course, apart from what Aarti Saini ma'am articulated here, I'm inquisitive to know, in your study, have you tried to portray CSR as a voluntary or mandatory type of thing? What's your perspective on CSR? How you take your study, whether to prove it voluntary or mandatory? This question is important because the dilemma between making it voluntary and mandatory has been very, very important these days. It is in the common scholarly palavers everywhere is being talked about, so very important. If you talk about even Nepalese practices, here the law has made it mandatory, and there has been hue and cry about it, you see. So that is the thing. So sir, could you please briefly answer to my query?
So I think I'm looking forward for the mandatory, because in the Indian context also, if you look at that, government has made it mandatory, and they need to spend 2% of their last 5 years financial, or some 3 years financial results. So they need to take some money out of that, and 2%, right? So better we'll focus on the mandatories. That's
right.
what I'm thinking.
Right. Very interesting. CSR is very interesting area, and I also have written several papers on this area, mostly research-based papers, and I have also contributed to the publication, the global publication on CSR. I couldn't share it. So Amitabh sir, could you please enable me to share my screen?
Sir, definitely, sir. Now you can share.
Okay. So I'll try. I'll just give you. Okay, a glimpse of what can be done. So probably, sir, could you see this one?
Yes, sir.
This is the one. Okay, it's been the authority publication from Springer Nature. So it has got the cross-country analysis and country-specific papers. And as far as this one is concerned, it is the authority paper. So you can review some of the authority papers, as Arati ma'am has already mentioned you or advised you. So landmark papers could be here, because it is the recent publication brought out in the month of July, August. Okay, so this is here. And I can show you some of the things, like look here, even from Asia, only 4 papers have been selected. So luckily we have India, Indonesia, Japan, and Nepal. Only 4 papers have been selected from Asia. Okay, so then I will also show, this is my paper. I also contributed from Nepal. So here are so many other papers. So you can kindly look into that. I'm talking about this one also for other subsequent presenters who are writing their papers, who have written their paper on CSR. All right, that's it. Thank you so much. This is my piece of advice. Thank you. So over to Khyati ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, can I please invite our next participant, IC11, serial number IC11. And the title of the paper is A Study of Conscious Consumerism of Sustainable Products Among the University Students in Pune City. And the paper is being presented by Dr. Neelam Raut along with Dr. Meenal Pense.
Is our screen visible, ma'am?
Yes.
And are we audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are clearly audible and your screen is visible.
Okay. Is it good time to start for us, because we have 10 minutes?
Yes, ma'am, you can start. So can they start with their presentation?
16:30. Can we start?
Arhan, sir? Can we allow them to start?
Yes, sure. Why not? Okay. Quickly, yes.
Very good afternoon to one and all who are present on this virtual platform. Before I start, I would like to make a quote. We can sit back or do nothing and watch our planet be destroyed, or we can take actions, become advocates, and start making lifestyle choices which are kinder to people and the planet. With this quote, myself, Dr. Neelam Raut, and Dr. Meenal Pense would like to present our paper on the same premise of conscious choices and actions which are taken by youth with respect to sustainable products. The title of a study with reference to this particular subject is A Study of Conscious Consumerism of Sustainable Products Amongst the University Students in Pune City. We are from Dr. Vishwanath Karad's MIT World Peace University, Maharashtra, Pune. Our keywords for this paper is conscious consumption, young generation, sustainable products, perceptions, environmental friendly, sustainable dimensions, and triple bottom line. A variable of the study is dependent variable is perception, whereas we have measured awareness separately. Independent variables are social dimensions, environmental dimensions, and economic dimensions of sustainability, which contributes through the triple bottom line principles. Now, the research gap that we try to identify based on extensive research that we have done, we found out there have been previous studies which were done on environmental conscious consumption. There was a separate study done on social conscious consumption, and there were some other studies which are done with a combination of environmental and social conscious consumption. And we have taken the insights from Baldeja's research paper, where our scale also is adopted from his research paper. Now, our study actually is an attempt to actually talk about all these three dimensions, that is namely social dimension, economic dimensions, and environmental dimensions of sustainability. And it is actually a comprehensive study which is talking about the conscious sustainable consumption amongst the youth, especially in the Indian context. And we are naming this youth as the Generation Z. The average age of the students of our study, which was found through results, was 22.41 years. And this study is also addressing the awareness and perception of youth with reference to these three dimensions. Not only this, the study also focuses on conscious sustainable consumption, which are important in terms of perception towards the Z generation or the young generations, towards especially disposable and landfilling of the products. I've given the reference here from where the scale was adopted and what kind of study was done by Mr. Baldeja. Now, the hypothesis and objective of the study. Objectives were to understand the awareness and behavior of youth for sustainable products at MIT World Peace University, Pune, India. To analyze the perception of youth towards conscious consumption for sustainable products studying at MIT World Peace University, Pune, India. To analyze the perception of youth towards usage of products meant for reuse, repair, recycle, which we named it as 3R, and upcycle, that is 1U, studying in MIT World Peace University, India. To understand the perception of the students towards sending products disposable towards the landfilling, and to find out of all the three dimensions, which dimension is most significant when youth want to buy the conscious consumption, especially for sustainable products. As for this, we have defined a hypothesis that young consumers' perception of conscious sustainable consumption is divided into three dimensions, that is environmental, social, and economic. The detailed research methodologies, our nature of study was a descriptive one. We used a structured interview to assess the youth's sustainable consumption habits along with the three dimensions of sustainability, namely social, environmental, and economic. The sample design was a judgmental sampling method which had young youth as the population and respondents who were the students of MIT World Peace University, India, Pune. Tools of the data collection in terms of we use the primary data collection method, which was through a structured questionnaire using Google Forms for data collection. We collected the data for the period of October to mid-December 2021. Secondary research articles, and for secondary research data collection, we use research articles, research papers, journals, and we use databases like Ebesco, Google Scholar, and ResearchGate. The tools for data analysis was we used an exploratory factor analysis and percentage analysis, which we used to examine responses, which was obtained by using SPSS IBM 28 software. In line with this, I have just listed the details of a study that the population was the students, 100% were Indian students. Average age of a population was 22.41 years. Sample size was 501 students of MIT World Peace University, Pune, Maharashtra, India. Sampling method was judgmental, and the judgment we had is the students who had sustainable studies in their curriculum and a part of the university. The next important thing is that our sample unit was the first year students and the final year students of the different degrees that we have used for sampling perspective. The period of sample I already told that October to December mid 2021. The university department programs that we were catering to in terms of getting the responses were Department of Commerce, Department of Science, Department of Business Administration, where we had MBA as well as BBA students, and Department of Engineering, where we had different fields altogether.
Okay. With reference to results of the study and discussion, talking about the results of the study, after analyzing the data of 501 students, following is the demographic representation: 57% males and 42% females participated in the study on conscious sustainable consumption. The average age of the participant was 22.41 years. 46% of the response was received from science department, 30.1% of the response from business administration department, 14% of the response from engineering department, and 7% students response was received from the commerce department. Students during the survey were asked to state their awareness related to sustainable or green products, and 90%, that is 451 of the students, had given an affirmative response stating their awareness for the sustainable products. Almost 86%, that is 432 students, have shown their willingness to purchase the sustainable products, and 80.6%, that is 404 students, have shown their willingness to purchase the sustainable products in 5 years down the timeline. 55% of the respondents considered sending disposal for landfilling as a harmful practice hampering the ecology, whereas 81%, that is 408 respondents, felt that they should use the products that could be either reused, repaired, recycled, or upcycled. So it has been showcased in the table. Another table which is related to having the factor analysis. So from the table, it could be observed that KMO measure is 0.915, which states that the response given by the sample is more than adequate. Also, Bartlett's test is another indication of strength of the relationship among the variable. From the above table, it can be seen that Bartlett's test of sphericity is significant, and the level of significance is small enough to reject the null hypothesis, stating that the correlation matrix is not an identity matrix. Table on the right hand side indicates exploratory factor analysis, which was used to examine the three-dimensional structure of conscious sustainable consumption assessment scale, yielding 4 factors with eigenvalues greater than or equal to 1, accounting for 71.077% of total variance. The factor, yeah.
Ma'am, you have just 2 more minutes to go now.
Okay, so with reference to now, please come to the implications. We will be talking about it. It was observed that social dimension, through our study, that social dimension had a highest explanatory ability, followed by economic dimension, which was ranked second in the importance of environmental dimension.
So if we see about the implications of a study, ma'am, when we talk about the business implications, since the social dimension was more significant factor while making buying decisions for sustainable products, and based on this argument, we propose that for marketers who are willing to sell the sustainable products and services to these targeted Z generation youth, we need to actually create a market offering where the social dimension claims can be made by the marketers in order to influence the buying decision. Not only this, the study also found that conscious consumption enhances the social, environmental, and economic quality of life, especially amongst the young generation. It reflects the conscious sense amongst youth as well as the perception and behavior on caring about themselves, the environment, and conserving for the future generation. Also, the social dimension significance in terms of the youth it is talking about, though there is more impact on the social dimension, the marketer should also ponder upon and incline their marketing efforts through other dimensions such as environmental as well as economic. With reference to this, when I'm talking about the 3R and the 1U perspective, the marketers also need to have their systems, their kind of business processes and business approaches using this 3R and 1IU concept, which will be required through their communicational efforts so that it can help the young generations to buy these sustainable products.
Okay, speaking about the academic implications.
Over now.
Yeah. Okay, so we had academic implications as well, and here are the conclusion. So awareness created due to curriculum, social dimension, and SDG 8 we have tried to implicate, and willingness to purchase sustainable products among the youth. Thank you.
These were our references, and thank you so much. With this, we appeal all the participants for conscious consumption and sustainable products and services. Save the planet, save human and humanity. Thank you from our side.
Thank you so much.
We're open to questions.
Yes, now the floor is open for questions. We have 5 minutes for question answer session. Anyone who is willing to ask question can please ask.
All right, Kathy ma'am, it seems no question from the floor.
Yes.
So then may I call upon Dr. Arati Saini ma'am once again for valuable comments on this paper.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for your presentation. And
thank you.
And definitely, it is very, very important topic which you discussed. Like this, there is a need of these kind of studies, basically. The thing is about like what value contribution you are making into research. That is more important rather than just doing a research, right? So filling the gap is very important. I saw your paper. I would recommend you to kindly make some, like formatting literature review. The kind of literature review you have written in your paper may not be accepted when you want to publish your paper. And since this is exploratory research, I just wanted to, you to highlight like how you read these 3 dimensions, right? Environmental, social, and economic dimensions, and these being the, like independent variable and how where it is leading to. You can make a model out of it, and maybe it can consumer motivation, like how they can purchase, maybe change in their behavior or something. Where it is leading to, it is just the identification of the, like independent variables. So you need to direct a way where it is going to be. So the model is definitely missing into your, paper. And you just try and put more and more important studies, because you might be seeing like, Journal of Business Research, Marketing Research, they're talking about sustainability now. And if you just follow their pattern, like what kind of papers they are writing and what kind of, work is being done over there, a lot of citations, important citations you can get from there. And you can definitely make this paper a valuable contribution. That is what is the need of time. It's not just writing the paper, as I told you. So just try and fill that gap and just try to define how this thing is going to lead and why it is important, right? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the valuable insights.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Aditi ma'am. Wonderful comments. Yeah, of course. This paper really can add value to the contemporary research, because it's been guided by our responsibility towards our society, because we owe a lot to this society. So this is very important. Therefore, if you want to get it published, as Arati ma'am has rightly articulated, it might require a number of modifications, not only on the front of literature review, but also on the front of research methodology. Probably you have used the factor analysis, so you prove why this factor analysis has been applied to it, those sort of things. And yeah, of course, there are a lot of papers published in this area, so probably limiting ourselves only to what available online might not give us the value sometimes. Some of the literature works already exist in it's not available online probably. So I can count on a number of research works that are available in Nepal, for example, particularly in this area. So that might be the case with India, because India is such a large country. I call India not a country, but a continent, because it's very large in size, okay, compared to Nepal. So even the diversity is here in Nepal in terms of language and ethnicity and topography, of course, but India is such a large country. So probably there are many other important landmark literature. Probably you please go into that also. So altogether, very good one. Really,
thank you, sir.
Thank you. I encourage you to work on that to make it publishable internationally. My best wishes to you. Congratulations.
Yeah,
thank you, sir.
Thank you so
much. Thank you.
Okay, over to Kathy, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Arhan sir and Aarti ma'am, for the valuable feedback you have been giving to all the participants. Now, I would like to request Dr. Mansi Kapoor to present her paper. The serial number of paper is IC34, and the topic is thematic analysis of Zomato's social media engagement on Twitter, the zing in the Zomato's tweet. What's the secret sauce? Ma'am, please, you can share your screen.
Yeah, thank you so much. Kathy, what's the paper number? Can you just say it again? Paper number, yeah.
Paper number is IC34.
Can I start?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Thank you. So I'm presenting on behalf of our research team. So that there you can see Mansi Kapoor, Samruddhi, and Hemant. So we get to the start as to why this paper is significant. So if you look at Zomato, it's not only just a startup, it's a startup that has made it big. It's like the icon of startups, and it's a success story where all of us wish to learn, what is it that they do right so that maybe others can do it, modify and tweak and understand their strategy. So this paper focuses on how Zomato engages its consumers on Twitter, and we also look at how they engage with Generation Z. So we've done a significant review of literature, and when we reviewed literature, it's about values of the new generation. We've also covered what companies are doing as far as their social media strategies goes. We also then figured out why should we pick on Twitter? I mean, why not Facebook or Instagram? So that's the part where we got our authentication from the review of literature. Now, how we got our data. So what we did is we looked into the Twitter accounts and we copied all the tweets from 2018 to 2021. So once we got all the tweets down, so we've used thematic analysis. And in thematic analysis, we're using Brown and Clark 6 steps methods. And that's how we've identified the themes that have emerged from them. So we've built a paper around the theory of Schwartz. It's known as the Schwartz value dimension. So this talks about how various generations are transcending from, let's say, self-enhancement to self-transcendence, from conservation to openness to change. And we've used this framework to further our research. Also, previous to this publication, me and some few researchers have worked on a paper where we've not say proven, but it's a Springer publication where we said how various generations are changing, how their values are changing so as to impact more responsible consumption. So I've cited that as well. So like I told you, process of data collection, it's been from the year 18 to 21. So let me get to the data here. So once we made an Excel of the entire data, then we kind of categorized it into 11 sub-themes. And so we had a total of 120 tweets that we picked up. And if you can look, we just broadly categorized it, seeing where the themes are going. Then we looked at the data again, and we've arranged it in ascending order of retweets. So when you look at Twitter, and if you look at what is more important in Twitter, so it's the number of retweets because that shows a high level of engagement. So again, we put it down in ascending order so that we could draw more sense from the data. And what we did is we've woven all these 11 categories into the 3 themes that we developed. So here are the themes that we built. So if you look at the post-millennials, and we looked at the values, we looked at the categories. So the themes that have come up is, the first one is, it's not about me, it's about you and me. The second is, we value traditions, but we are not traditional. And the third is, our hearts still beat for our friends, Ma, and food. So how did we build these themes? I'm just putting a few samples here. So the first theme is, these people are more, they're not, I won't use the word selfish, but they're more conscious of things like inclusivity, the other, and fair practices. So these were some of the popular tweets that, being conscious Zomato's policy of being conscious of the planet by using e-vehicles was a very popular one. Then about society, so about women's role in society, something that engages a lot of conversation. So yes, Zomato put out a tweet, yes, women should be in the kitchen, but then they changed that, saying grabbing a balan to beat up everyone who says so. So again, this was very, very popular. It helped us to figure the things out. The second, in short, is we value our traditions, but we're not traditional. I think this is something very important, that these people know their roots, but they still want to just keep the relevant parts up. So I found this very interesting. So it says this one. So assuming that 14124 sweets ordered in the last hour from class 12 backbenchers. So this is typically of India, because and they're attacking the kind of stress that we have in the education system, and people don't want that anymore. So they're celebrating things like backbenchers. So Zomato again uses a lot of humor, a lot of social awakening, and uh, that's what builds engagement with young people. Then the third, so if you look at traditional Indian culture, the mother is the center of our homes, and we have a lot of respect for our mothers, and it's still there. But however, if you look at how we've brought in humor and how we are trying to change the role, and we're trying to change the role of a mother in Indian society. So mother is no longer someone who provides. A mother can have her own independence and still be a good mother. And I think again, this whole beautiful thing about the young people and the young company coming together to bring that consciousness was a very beautiful experience. So excuse me, so here's one quote: wake up, chai thandi ho jayegi, phir khud banate rehna. These are very small, subtle things that you hear in very Indian homes, but have a very profound impact on the way we perceive our parents, our friends, and the way culture in India is also changing. So again, so the traditional Indian value is, we want our mothers to feel proud of us. So again, Zomato's taken that with a slight twist. So they are saying, yes, it's important for mothers to feel proud, but it's also important that you cherish the bonds and don't get stressed by it. So I find um, okay, so here's the conclusion. So if you look at this, we saw that in their social media engagement, Zomato uses absolutely subtle and sublime aspects of Indian culture, wraps them up with humor, and that's what you will see consistently, but they don't forget their core idea. They are a food company after all, and that is so, it's so well crafted, and the food is like slipped in. So this is very subtle, and I wouldn't like to use the word advertising or marketing. I don't know much of that, but and if you know, social media is all about building conversations. So I think they've got this very fine art of fusing a lot of elements of old, new, and yet being very subtle about it. And here, so element of food is always designed to look like it's an afterthought. The focus is always more on on culture, on conversation, on society, on bringing people together. So it's got a goodness packed into their conversations. Then I think what's the value of this research? So if we're talking of the new generation, the post millennials, I think it's important to understand what are they seeking from life. Not only to sell them stuff, but how do you educate them, how do you reward them, how do you keep them motivated? So this is just one aspect of this. So coming back to post-millennial values here, I think they are representing a collective spirit of emancipation from those aspects of culture that have been weighing Indians down. That is patriarchy, gender bias, inequality, cutthroat competition, risk aversion, lack of authenticity. So I think that's one contribution of the research. And I end the presentation. Thank you, and I'll be happy to take questions and feedback.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking care of the time limit. And now the floor is open for question and answers. Any of the participants, if they are willing to ask question, please proceed. Since we have no questions from the participants again, I would request our session chairs to put their remarkable.
All right, right. Of course, always ladies first. So, Aditi ma'am, please.
Thank you, Mansi ma'am. Very, very interesting case study, I must say, and how you pointed out on the facts, like how these companies are trying to adapt to the environment and also target them emotionally.
Yes.
So there are different factors which I'm identifying, like after doing the thematic analysis. So why don't you just make a model out of it? There's like how these companies trying to target, and definitely it's a need of time. And as advertising is something, especially when it comes to food, and this is something very, very important, because it's not all about luxury or something, it's a need of humans, like what you want to have. So how these companies are trying to the youngsters, even the mothers also, that they are comfortably ordering from there. Yes. So this is something very nice. So I think it's a case study method like which you have used over here with a thematic analysis. Yes. So where are you planning to publish it? I just want to know, have you identified some journals?
Yeah,
or some
actually, so there's this journal called Journal of Consumer Behavior. It's run by Mika. I thought maybe that's a good place for it, but I'm not too sure about the others. So it's more of culture and marketing mix. So I really don't know. I'll be happy if you can share some insights.
So, Mansi ma'am, I would suggest you to, go and check their aim and scope. What's the scope of the journal? I'm sure that you must be thinking of something, but there might be something else they might be looking for. Just try and include that into paper. Make your paper as per their requirement and just try and submit. First of all, identify like, are they actually publishing the case studies or not? Just try and make a good model out of it. The methodology is excellent. And I think this is how the marketers are actually working. In this present scenario, they are just checking all the social media and tracking what are the consumer comments and everything, and then they are doing the analysis.
Yes.
For the methodology, it is perfectly fine, but try and just follow the guidelines. Maybe you can just try some good, like there is BIMTech, like they have their very good case studies book coming up. So you can also try that. And there are a lot of journals also who are also, like publishing case studies. Just try and identify, you will definitely find just the effort is very good, and I wish you all the best for the same.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the input.
All right. Thank you, Aditi ma'am. Wonderful. Okay, Mansi ma'am, I'm inquisitive to know something about your research gap. I couldn't really get into that, get hold of the research gap. So if you really want to get it published in some good journal, of course, it will be required. But yeah, of course, the topic is wonderful. I really loved this theme or the topic that you have chosen. So the research gap is something I could not really comprehend.
Oh, so I haven't actually looked at the gap, but I've more looked at something that I found very inspiring, to be very honest. I'm a Zomato customer, and like you said, I follow their tweets a lot. I don't follow Instagram. And I was very fascinated by how they're building it up and how they're becoming such a huge organization. And I actually went to the website. I've checked everything out. This paper is actually an inspiration, and there's no gap that I can say. I just want to understand, and this whole the youth of India that's coming together. So if you look at Zomato, their website, the people that they employ, the way they talk, also on the website, the person who owns it, who started it, he constantly tweets also, the way they fight for rights and social justice. I'm just very inspired by it. I don't think I've looked for a gap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So as the chair of this session, I would also congratulate and also would like to advise, like whichever publication or journal you would pick up in the days to come. It would be very important to comply with the references. So as far as I know, in most of the journals today, a majority of journals go for APA style, and you have to format your references as per the APA style. It is still not in that style now. Okay, so that would really help you if you reformat your APA style. I mean the references as per the APA style. The topic is interesting. Probably this will really fascinate the publisher. I mean the journal editorial board also. So if I were the editorial board member where you submit this paper, I would really quickly endorse it, going by the topic. Yeah, but of course we have to look into other criteria, other things also. Yeah, okay. Congratulate once again. Thank you. Yeah, over to Kathy, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to request CS Maulik Chandani and Dr. Iram Khan with their paper. And the serial number of paper is IC36. And the topic of the paper is Corporate Social Responsibility, Spending Patterns, a Comparative Analysis between Leading Indian States. CS Maulik Chandani and Dr. Iram Khan. Let me just check if they are in the meeting or not.
Else we can call upon another paper presenter if they are not available here.
Yes, so we will move on to the next presentation. IC40. Sure. Serial number of paper is IC40. And now I would like to call Dr. Namrata Srivastava to present a paper on FDI in different sectors of South Asian economies.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Voice is clear?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Your voice is clear. You can share the screen and start with your presentation.
Yeah, wait a minute, ma'am. Yeah, I think PPT is visible, ma'am.
Yes, your PPT is visible.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Myself, Dr. Namrata.
Ma'am, you'll have to mute one of your devices. You've been using dual devices here. Please mute one of them.
There's a problem. Yeah, one is muted, sir. Yeah, now, voice is clear, sir? Ma'am?
Not yet, not yet. We hear echo sound.
Ma'am, actually, I think there's some problem with your internet connection or the earphones that you are using. Kindly try to fix it.
Now I think voice is clear.
Okay. No, ma'am. There are some disturbances in your voice. There's some background noise, I guess.
Yeah, actually I am in university or so a bit noise here. Can I start or wait for half an hour?
Arhan, sir?
Ma'am, can you speak out now? We'll check.
Okay. Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. So, good evening, everyone.
Ma'am, you come closer to the device that you've been using.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it will fix the problem.
I am very.
Yeah. All right. That's okay. Okay. Please go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Myself, Dr. Namrata Srivastava, Assistant Professor of Economics, and today I will discuss about my full length paper, and I will not take a more time. And briefly, with the help of, I have discussed about my full length paper briefly with the help of PPT. But the topic of my PPT is FDI in different sector of South Asian economy. You can see the PPT here, and everyone know the role of FDI. Briefly, I can explain. FDI is a significant source of external finance. You can see the FDI inflow is very important for those countries. They have, you can say, the developing countries. So I have, when I have read in my paper that I have find out so many research gaps or problems. So many paper I have read of related this topic, South Asian country, but what I have chosen my variables is differ from the other factors, because the little bit study on of these topics in variables. And if I talk about my keywords, so FDI, developing country, economic growth is my keywords, and you can see my review of literature, and so many 12 review of literature I had write down in my paper, but in PPT I have a little bit used in review of literature, and some of my two papers included in my review of literature. You can see 2019 and 2017, which is related by FDI, and in this session I have in this paper I use 35 variables and 3 models, and that market size and exports is the significant variable, GDP and forex and external depth also is the significant variables, some are not. So if some are not, but the model is significant, because if your 90% is the your model, so that's good, or a fitted model. And if I talk about the research methodology, I have taken a secondary source of data in my in this paper, and 31 years data I have collected, which is from started 1990 to 2020. And objective of my paper is to understand the economy of South Asian country, to find out the need for FDI to economic development of South Asian country, to focus on the incentives offered by the government of South Asian country to attract more FDI, to present the trends of FDI inflows into South Asian country. Next, to outline the possible suggestions for the better inflows of FDI into South Asian country for developed economic development. Hypothesis: first is the structure and a pattern of a variable is remains same. Second, causal relation between FDI inflows and its determination. Next is the regression model. I have used in a multiple regression. You can see the method is there, and 5 independent variables, 1 is dependent variables. You can see this slide. In this slide, I have taken 5 countries: India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Pakistan. And you can see the graph due to the pandemic in starting in some FDIs play a very good role in this country, but due to some pandemic or 2019 or 20, you can see the next is you can see this FDI policy of a South Asian countries, which is not a linear line or a single line, and there are a fluctuation. You can see the up and down, means some kind of some variables they are affected the growth of South Asian country. So this is my next slide, and this one is also the per capita income of percent of GDP of South Asian country. You can see this data I have collected from secondary. As I said, this line is to show the negative impact of GDP for the per capita income due to some reason or a pandemic or other factors, and or you can say the dummy variables. FDI inflow in GDP of a South Asian country. This is in 1990. You can see this line where my cursor is there. So this is shown the upwards, and 2009 and 8 is the peak point, and they touch a 3% or above, and also 19 and 20 they goes down because you also know the condition of other countries is not good due to the pandemic. Next, the trade openness of percent GDP I have found in South Asian country. This is also seen under up and downs the fluctuation. And I am not taking more time, and I switch my this and result. If I found, I have taken the observation at 31, and year is the 1992 2020, and least square GDP is the dependent, and other variables which I have seen in my previous slides. 5 variables they were dependent variables. In this table, which I have found, the R square is 99%. It is a more than a 60%. We can say the 99% is a good profited model, and we can go through this model. And independent variables influence the 99% of a GDP. External influence is only 1%. Means the 99 is rigid, only 1% they are affected are dependent variables. It is a good sign of variable or good fitted. The guideline of a p value is less than a 5%, as we know about, means only the one variable in my label is the variable. This is not a good fitted. This is more than a 5%. I use a 31 year data, so time series data also I have used, and I checked the homoscedasticity or not, or a correlation or a serial correlation. So heteroscedasticity test, I have found that a p-value observation R square is a 5%, means the residuals have a constant variable which is desirable, means that
sorry
residuals
to interrupt you, ma'am, but you have just 2 more minutes.
Next is LM test. Hello, ma'am.
Just 2 more minutes.
Thank you, ma'am. I have finished it soon. In this model, in this table, we can show there is a no serial correlation. P-value is less than 5%. So no serial correlation I have found in this model. Jarkawara test also is the significant, and the model is good fitted. Summary and a conclusion, only one variable is not fitted. Otherwise, 99% I have covered all these criteria which is required for a multi-collinearity, multi-regression models, and it is good for I can see the students, if they are read this paper, they can find the new things and new variables, and this is the help of my useful. I can see the makers also, because the data is very currently data I have taken 1999 and 20 also. Thank you. That's it for my side. If any question, please ask me.
Kathy, ma'am, please open the floor for questions.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Now the floor is open for question. All the participants who are willing to ask, kindly proceed with the questions.
Okay, Namaskar once again. This is Sushil Awale from Tribhuvan University, Nepal. I'm specialized in service marketing here in Nepal, and I'm also a secretary of Nepalese Marketing Association here in Nepal. So I'd like to ask Dr. Namrata, what could be the future research implications? Research implications of your study?
Yes, sir. It is very useful because new data I have collected from different sites, and they are useful.
because we can nowadays we can see now, sir, due to the pandemic, our condition is very worse. So how can improve? So one variable which is affected on my model shows we can improve that. Other is very good, sir, but that factor is not significant in my model. We can go through for that and enhance the GDP of that South Asian country.
Namrata ma'am, actually what I mean is, what could be the implication for the future researcher from your study? What research gaps has been identified at the end of your research so others can pursue that?
So, suppose so many
what are the
papers
limitations?
Yes, sir.
Or you can say, what are the limitations of your study?
Limitation. I have not using a broad area, sir. You can say the data is collected only 31 years. The limit is collection is this. Before, because if I go through the 50 or 60s, 1950 or 60, that time I haven't get any kind of FDI's results. So how can is possible I use this? So this is my limit. I cannot adopt, you can say the 45 or 50 years data. And if you're talking about the useful our resources or research scholars, new scholars, they can collect the data and search the weakest points and they can improve on this. Maybe they, if they are go through my paper, if they are if they are good, they feel good my models, so they can add more variables. Otherwise, they can go through different variables, market size, forex, trade open. I have used in my model. So many variables they can use.
Thank you, Namrata ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Kathy ma'am, do we have other questions from the floor?
Any other participant who is willing to ask question?
Okay, I would like to say something, Dr. Namrata. The topic which you had chosen.
Same.
Yeah. So I completely, agree with the Sushil sir over here. So when you are writing a research paper, there are a lot of things which you need to, pen it down into your paper, because it's not like just collection of data, what you're doing. What significant, contribution it is making, that is very important. So you have collected data from the secondary sources, and I think the methodology should be strong enough, like the data from where you have collected this and why, what is the reason of identifying, the FDI trends, and what is the future implication, how it's going to help. It's not for the students. You are writing research paper for the researchers around the world who are going to read your paper. So you need to make a valuable contribution over there. And definitely, I find that it's lacking a contribution. It's not just compiling of the compilation of the data and just presenting it. I've seen the latest report from McKinsey, which is definitely pointing out a lot about the FDI, and definitely the time period has been very, very harsh. For the world, when we're talking about FDI, that has been a very major area which has been affected during this time. What after this? What after this pandemic? Like we have learned to stay in this scenario. Maybe in future anything can happen. So what can be the future implication? That you have to point it out, because it's not only just about writing the paper. And how did you get the graph? You need to, you made so many graphs over there, but how did you make them? So maybe what kind of software you must have used or something, and how you have done that. You need to put that in your paper.
I have used SPSS now.
So ma'am, that transparency has to be there, like how you work on this paper. So you really need to work hard on your paper. And I really feel that your methodology and what is the contribution what you're making, and just try and implement all those, the limitations and everything. That everything has to be you really need to do a lot of literature review, how people in this area write. Then only you can improve your paper.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Lots of people. Actually, my FDI is my PhD topic, sir, ma'am. So I know the area of FDI is very broad. We cannot collect individually data. So I have to choose a secondary data, ma'am. And in my research paper, only 14 or 15 pages. How can I possible all these things I have included? And PPT is very small or a brief part. So you can see my graph is there. Yeah, you can see my graph is there, but finding in my papers, you can see.
I've seen your paper, ma'am. So please try and incorporate the suggestions and my best wishes to you. Over to you, Arhan, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Aditi, ma'am, for comments. And congratulations, Dr. Namrata Srivastava, ma'am. Really, it's very important research for research policy makers, of course, very interesting. I'm personally also interested in the area of FDI because I come from a country, Nepal, which is also based on FDIs, and we have the policy to promote FDIs for last 40 years or so. But few things I would like to point out here, as I share my views with Sushil Awale sir from Nepal, and also Arati Sain ma'am also. Yeah, these are very important points they have raised. We have the suggestions, okay? So please take them, these constructive suggestions positively, please. Yeah, of course, I am inquisitive to know the source of data of all these Asian countries, the data of all Asian countries. Did you collect all data from a single source or multiple sources?
Sir, multiple sources.
Sorry?
Multiple sources.
Multiple, okay. So then the way the data have been generated there might be different. So that might be one of the limitations, I guess, because when you use secondary data for all these countries, national level data, okay. So this should be, or you'll have to clean the data. Otherwise, that will be a problem. And yeah, another very important suggestion for you from my side, if you really want to get it published in top journals, is like you've been using the action verbs, which are not truly research domain action verbs. This also applies to the second paper. So I see the words like to understand. Okay, this is, we always encourage researchers to use research domain action verbs like examine, assess, identify, sort of thing, not understand. Understand is not a research domain action verb, okay? So this is also very important suggestion from for getting it published. And I'm also inquisitive to know, like, did you, so you inform us like you use the multiple regression analysis, but I do not see your table, regression analysis table. Is it there? Only graphs are there, but not this multiple regression analysis. I couldn't make out really what.
Yes, sir. I have not. I didn't add in table here.
Okay.
I have
Okay, please review it. And one more suggestion is, as far as the methodology is concerned, you have mentioned somewhere Jarkovera test. Okay, so yes, it's not been properly explained here. I guess this Jarkovera statistics that you have mentioned here. So you need to, substantiate your finding through the critical argumentation. Okay, that is another piece of advice from my side. And one more final piece of advice. Okay, so yes, you also try to critically argue the findings, like ups and downs that you have rightly shown here in your graph. Why in certain years the graph ascended and then descended? Why that particular thing? So you critically argue those phenomena, all those phenomena also. That will really improve, I mean, really enhance the quality of your paper. Yeah, it's good, but again,
Yes.
there is room for improvement. Okay, so my best wishes to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, over to Kathy, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am. As we can see, we are running little late than the scheduled time. So with the permission of the session chair, if we can reduce the time from 10 minutes to 8 minutes, though it is
Sure,
up
yeah.
to the session chair only.
Yes, Kathy, ma'am. Amitabh, sir, also, and also with the consent of Arati Saini, ma'am, also. Yes, we reduce the presentation time. Yeah, 8 minutes will be enough. Yeah.
Okay, so here.
And we also request our presenters to avoid the introduction part. This they can jump into objectives or problem statement right away. Yeah, go ahead.
So this is the new announcement for all the participants present, that we have reduced the presentation time from 10 minutes to 8 minutes now. And now you will have to take care of the new timings. So next, I would like to invite Ms. Hina Arora and Dr. Pooja Jain to present their paper on advertising appeals connect with customer emotions, neuromarketing perspective. And the serial number of paper is IC44.
Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay. My screen is also visible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible.
Okay. So a very good evening to one and all present here. Thank you, Prestige Institute, for giving me an opportunity to present my research paper titled Advertising Appeal Connect with Customer Emotions, Neuromarketing Perspective. So I, with my guide, has written this paper. So these are the keywords: advertising appeals, customer emotions, neuromarketing, facial expressions. Coming to the variables of the studies, the rational appeal, and under rational appeal, there is popular appeal and feature appeal and emotional appeal. Under emotional appeal, I'm going to talk about humor appeal and sexual appeal, customer emotions, and neuromarketing. Neuromarketing is basically a technique which I'm going to implement on my advertising appeal concept. So this is the literature review paper. So after extensive literature review, it is identified that majorly studies always talk about rational appeal and emotional appeal. But actually, what comes under rational appeal and what comes under emotional appeal, or what all appeals comes under, both these appeals are, this issue is rest to be expressed. So therefore, this study is initiated with, in exploring the dimensions of both rational appeal and emotional appeal. Talking about neuromarketing, neuromarketing is an amalgamation of marketing field as well as neuroscience field. But when it comes to the implementation of neuromarketing technique on management field, it is seen that there has some involvement of scientific instruments or technical instruments which is not feasible for management experts to use to apply or analyze the result. Therefore, the study is initiated to fill this gap by proposing an idea of mapping the emotions of customers toward different rational and emotional advertising appeals, that too without the interference of any scientific or technical tool. So keeping in view the research gap, the objectives are to investigate different dimensions of rational and emotional advertising appeals used by marketers, which influence customer emotions in current times. Second objective is to find out the most effective neuromarketing technique used to measure effectiveness of advertising appeals by management experts. Coming to the methodology part, so this is a literature review paper. So extensive literature review has been gone through based on these keywords, that is advertising appeals, customer emotions, neuromarketing, from Emerald and Google Scholar sites, and majority of research papers were from Scopus. So after going through literature, these gap is identified, and so the objectives are formulated. Coming to the findings of the research, in rational appeal, it is explored that in rational popular appeal and feature appeals comes under rational appeal. Popular appeal says when a brand says that I am popular, I have a band with me, I have a bandwagon technique, so you have to buy that product. And feature appeal says I have these all features in my product, so you have to buy this. And both these appeals comes under the dimension of rational appeal. Coming to emotional appeal, there is humor appeal and sexual appeal. Humor appeal, which grasps customer attention by creating some humor, and sexual appeal by arousing sexual interest of the customer. They attract customers to buy a particular product. Moreover, all these appeals trigger customer emotion in some or other way. But the most of the challenge is how to map this with neuromarketing, how to map this technique with neuromarketing. So in neuromarketing also, as it is amalgamation of management and neuroscience, so we cannot use any neuromarketing techniques, say for example, fMRI, functional magnetic resonance, galvanic skin response, eye conductance, skin conductance. So here what we can do is we have come up with theories which suggest that there is some kind of relationship between customer emotions and facial expressions. So all these theories, cognitive appraisal theory, by Richard Lazar's Statter Singer theory by Stanley Statter, Cannon Bard theory by Walter Cannon and Philip Bard, facial feedback theory by Charlie Darwin and William James, and James Lange theory by William James and Carly Lange. They all support that there is some kind of relationship between customer emotions and facial expressions or facial recognition. And keeping this point in view, we have proposed a model which we are going to test, or which future researchers are also going to test, which will be tested without the interference of any scientific tool. Now coming to how we are going to test it, we all are management and academicians. So here we can develop a program based on any computer language or coding language which helps in detecting the facial expressions of the respondents, and later on those expressions will be going to possess some kind of emotions which can be mapped through our system. So this is the proposed model of our study under rational appeal, feature appeal, and popular appeal. Emotional appeal, under emotional appeal, there are humor appeal and sexual appeals.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. You have just 2 more minutes to go.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. After that, implications and significance of the study. So implications of the study is, as currently we academicians are right now not able to identify that how we are going to implement neuromarketing technique in our study, as we are not scientific experts, we are not who have the knowledge of implementation of scientific tools or blood circulation or brain psyche. So therefore this study is going to help academicians, management experts. Also, popular appeal and feature appeal are not yet properly explored or empirically tested. So it is also giving future researchers an option to empirically test and identify which ad appeal is influential. Coming to the significance part, this research was needed because neuromarketing is an emerging fields, and management experts equally require the importance of tools to map any marketing stimuli towards customers. So this is thank you everyone. So this research paper is done by me with my guide Dr. Pooja Jain.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now the floor is open for question answers. So any participant who is willing to ask question can proceed.
Okay, namaskar once again, Hina, Aurora ma'am, and all dignitaries. Hina ma'am, can you just for the sake of interaction as well, so it will warm up the session. Can you just state one of the theory of neuromarketing, because you have been doing a literature review, okay? So I'm not clear about I'm not a little bit confused about the neuromarketing theory. Can you state one of the theory of neuromarketing?
Okay, sir. Sir, neuromarketing theory, neuromarketing field itself says that I am the combination of neuromarketing field as well as management field. Here, I am putting neuro techniques. Say, for example, any technical instrument, fMRI, where I'm going to map the brain or blood flow of the consumer. I as a management expert is not able to put wires on a customer to map their emotions or to map any their constraint, that what are they possessing towards my my stimuli. Say, for example, I want to map the satisfaction level of my customer, but how I recognize that what kind of satisfaction is there. So for that reason, neuromarketing itself says that in order to map through in neuromarketing, it says that we can map through two types. One is either we can map through cognitions or we can map through affections. So affection cognition parts is definitely going to be done through neuromarketing scientific instruments. But for management experts, we can map affection part through observing their physiological factors. That means facial recognition system, or it can also be eye mapping, eyeball cognition systems.
Okay, thank you, Hina ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so since we are running out of time, may I request Arati Saini ma'am for comments?
Fine. I won't take much time, Hina. Nice presentation. And neuromarketing is, I think it's an emerging area. I myself is doing literature review on this, and there's a lot of findings. I think you can just make your paper, how the beginning of neuromarketing happens and how over the period of time it is essential. Maybe we can relate when you're talking about advertising. There are a lot of things which is important over here, because the advertising is for the millennials now. So the millennials' mind is totally different, and how it's impacting them. We are in the period of YouTube shorts or reels, where only like 5 second or 10 second advertising or something is making impact on them. So what kind of techniques, so you can put it in your suggestions, like how it can help them to get in touch with the latest consumers, like maybe the millennials, or how it's impacting them. So you can just add on that point into your suggestions and try and make your model more elaborative, because it's a very, very deep concept. Because I've been reading about this, so it's a psychology or something. It's a combination of a lot of things. Yes, so identify some landmark theories, put that in your paper, and just try and come out beautifully with the idea of this paper. And I'm sure that this thing.
Ma'am, I also want to add one thing, ma'am. This paper is related to my PhD thesis, so I'm planning to add purchase intention also in this part after customer emotions. So after putting purchase intention, I'm going to, when I make the model, when I'm going to make the coding system in my computer. So at that point of time, I thought of asking a consumer that are you intend to purchase this product, and at that point of time when consumer puts yes or no, that means there I can put logistic regression and come up with results.
So two suggestions: either to make it an experimental research or either to make it a qualitative research. Because, okay, ma'am. So you can go in that as well. So it's a different part, I understand, but that can add value to your thesis. Maybe a good paper can come out of this. So just try and include that.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable insights.
May I, Aarti ma'am and Hina ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
With the prior permission of chair, co-chair, and the organizing committee.
Yes, ma'am, please go ahead.
See, there is one thing I quickly will try to put up over here. India is a kind of country where in the 80s and 90s era, we have seen that Fair and Lovely advertisement of 20 to 23 seconds. And yet that fairness cream. So one thing, whatever coming in their facial expression and who is the consumer, who is the customer, this kind of things will be going there. Recently, in the 2020, that advertisement by the Tanishq in this occasion of Eid. That time that became very controversial, emotional appeal advertisement it was. And there was a God Bharai sort of scene. And that became the trolled large. And afterwards, it has to remove from there. So in such kind of country, how we can rely on this kind of scientific modes, modules, and how practical and successful it can be.
So coming to those countries, ma'am, in our model, if we put some...
That way around, my question is, and
sorry?
Swati ma'am, emotional appeal and this measurement by these kind of tool, how practical and successful in terms of giving result?
Okay, so ma'am, right now I'm also in process of formulating that code only. So I'm also getting that challenge.
Hina ma'am, I was actually asking this to Aarti ma'am.
Okay,
will it be really successful? I mean, I'm also a candidate from marketing. So my MBA and PhD both is in marketing and advertising appeal. This is a big area and era. So the ways he was saying, Aarti ma'am, that 20 seconds, 50 seconds reels we are influencing time as of now. So advertising appeal and kind of country like India, where still fairness cream, handsome cream comes in terms of fairness and all those. So these measurement tools, scientific tools, will they be practical and I mean proving?
Yes, ma'am, definitely. So I'm seeing, like I'm teaching my students, and there are a lot of things like observation which I come out, and this is something like the time, every company has to invest into this artificial intelligence and all this thing. It's a need of time, because we are in so much hurry this time that. When we are talking about the marketing has gone. You must have seen that nobody watched this DD Metro, or maybe DD Metro has gone now, cable and Sony and everything is gone now. We are on Netflix and Amazon, where advertising is something I think most expensive stuff over there, because it's not possible for them to advertise. So advertising is dying its natural death. That's the reason they are social media. So the future of advertising is just to grab the attention. So be it anywhere. So we are moving to a smart TVs now. The generation is changing, and now so are we as a researcher have to start working on them, like how we can help the marketers.
That's what.
Yes, I understand the cultural influence is there. Like the ad you were talking about, that has to be taken off because of the religion disputes and something like that. But yes, this is the reality of reality of our culture. And we definitely have to take care of the emotions as well, because that is something very, very important. So it's a very, very deep concept. I think we can talk a lot about it. And
that's what. And we are already running short of time. So some other time I will really love to discuss
Sure. Anytime, ma'am. Anytime.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Since we are running out of time, I would not make any comment here. So now, Kathy ma'am, how many papers are supposed to be presented here now? How many remaining?
Actually, we are having total 18 papers for this.
Oh my God. 15.
Yes,
earlier I was told 15. Okay.
And yes, so there are certain additions in the papers.
Oh.
Earlier we were having papers, now we are having 18 papers.
Would we be able to accommodate all of them if we allow them 7 minutes or like that? So probably we have to curtail the time to 5 minutes, because the discussion, the question, comments from the experts would be more important for our presenters. So maybe can we go with the 5 minutes presentation time now?
So we can do that.
Right. Okay, please make the announcement.
All the participants, please take care of the timings now. We have reduced the presentation timings to 5 minutes. Please just go on the main, like the crux of your topics. Okay, do not go into the detailed introduction and all. Okay, so that participants can ask questions that will be more fruitful. And now we can proceed with the next paper.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. So the next paper is IC 52. And I would like to invite Ruby Mary Knotts and Dr. Amitava Roy to present the paper on good corporate governance and improve firm performance, a study on Indian listed firms.
Good evening, ma'am. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
All right. So without further ado, good evening to the esteemed panelists and my fellow participants. My name is Ruby Mary Knotts, and I will be presenting the paper on behalf of Dr. Roy and myself. The topic for my presentation today is Good Corporate Governance and Improved Firm Performance, a study on the Indian listed firms. These are the main keywords for the purpose of our study, the most predominant ones being corporate governance and firm performance. For the purpose of our study, we have categorized our variables into three categories, namely the dependent variables, which have been captured from both the accounting-based perspective and the market-based perspective, so as to capture firm performance. Thereafter, the independent variables, namely predominantly the various corporate governance mechanisms that are likely to impact firm performance, and of course, the control variable. For the purpose of capturing firm performance, return on assets, namely ROA, has been taken as the accounting-based measure, and market value to book value has been taken as the stock-based metric so as to measure firm performance. For the purpose of the various corporate governance parameters, we have collected the total number of directors forming a part of the board, namely the board size, proportion of the directors who are independent on a board, proportion of directors who are non-executive on the board, the number of board meetings held each year, the total number of board committees prevalent in a given company, the presence of an audit committee, whether it's taken as a binary. So if it's yes, then 1, if no, then 0, the number of audit committee meetings, and the proportion of directors who are independent on an audit committee. For the purpose of the control variable, we have taken firm size, which has been measured as a natural logarithm of the total asset. In the last column, we are seeing a few references, namely the various researchers who have used these variables for similar researches in the past. Now, quickly coming to the research gap and the objective of the study. As we know that corporate governance is a holistic approach to governance which seeks to improve an organization's accountability and transparency by holding the management accountable, there is a very focused emphasis on the impact of corporate governance on firm performance. However, there were previous researches in the past that have tried to capture this association. However, the results were inconclusive. One of the predominant reasons for this inconsistency is the various proxies that have been used by the previous researchers. Now, there has been a point which was made by previous researchers like Larker, Richardson, and Tuna, who emphasize the fact that corporate governance, being a complex construct, is difficult to quantify and hence leads to the difficulty in the consistency in finding out the relationship. Hence, it becomes critical to continuously analyze the impact of corporate governance on the efficiency of firm productivity and performance. Thus, this result seeks to statistically investigate the relationship between corporate governance and firm performance so as to ascertain whether or not there exists a favorable bearing of corporate governance on firm performance. For the purpose of our study, we have selected a sample of 500 companies on the basis of NSE 500 as on 31st of March 2020, which was constructed for 8 financial years, as you can see on the screen before you. The data has been acquired from the company's annual reports and the ProS database. For the purpose of uniform computation, we have excluded banks and financial institutions because the nature of accounting adopted by these banks and financial institutions are different. Hence, from 500 companies, we have come down to 415 companies, which upon calculation comes to 3,320 firm years. This is a small snippet of the classification of the sample companies. We have a well-diversified data set comprising of firms from 18 industry groups. For the purpose of our study, a panel data was constructed, the method of analysis being that of fixed effect panel regression, with ordinary least squares being the mode of estimation, so as to capture the robustness of our data on the basis of the quantum. For the purpose of our analysis, we have constructed 2 models. The first model is the ROA model, capturing firm performance from the accounting-based perspective. And the second one is our market-based model, capturing the firm performance with respect to the market-based measure, that is market value to book value. And of course, the various corporate governance parameters whose impact we want to gauge on firm performance. This table on the left gives us the descriptives of all the exploratory variables that have been utilized for the purpose of our study. On the right-hand side, we see the Pearson correlation matrix table. If we look at the table closely, we will observe that there is a significant association amidst practically all the exploratory variables. However, the correlation coefficient are pretty moderate. Thereby, multicollinearity does not seem to be a problem in this case.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am, but 5 minutes are over. Can you please conclude your paper?
Sure, ma'am. So as we know, as multicollinearity was not an issue. So as per the regression results, if we can see on the screen before us, these are the regression results for the two models, ROA and market value to book value models. And of course, the items that have a significant impact on both the ROA and MV2BV have been highlighted in this table. So in conclusion, I would just put it this way. Of course, although I would like to explain the facts as to why they are significant, but as I am running out of time, they have been, of course, explained in my paper, so that could be read from there. So in conclusion, analyzing corporate governance and impact on firm performance helps us garner an insight into how a firm has been faring, both from the accounting perspective and market perspective. A small summary of fixed effects panel regression has revealed significant favorable association between ROA and proportion of independent directors on the board meetings, the number of board committees, and the presence of an audit committee. However, there was a significant but negative relationship between ROA and firm size, which could be attributed to maybe diseconomies of scale. With respect to market value to book value, we saw that there was a favorable significant association between proportion non-executive directors on the board, the number of board committees, presence of an audit committee, proportion of independent directors on an audit committee, and firm size with market value to book value. The overall observation deciphered suggests that robust corporate governance parameters significantly and favorably impact firm performance. We believe that the results drawn from our empirical analysis has adequate strength to predict the relationship between firm performance as captured by ROA and MV2BV and corporate governance, and thereby validates the fact that good corporate governance does lead to improved firm performance. Thank you, and I'm so sorry for exceeding the time.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So participants, if you are willing to ask, please ask. Please come forward if somebody is interested. I think nobody is willing to ask any questions, so we will move to our session chairs. Aarti ma'am and Arhan sir, if you are willing to ask any questions.
Okay, first Aditi ma'am, briefly, yes.
So I can just convey my best wishes because I'm not a finance person and I cannot, comment so much on that. So my best wishes, sir, you can take up the questions just in case.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I would also extend my best wishes to the Ruby Mary Knots. Yeah, okay. Okay, so yeah, of course, this governance issue has become very, very prominent in the recent times, particularly when it comes to policy making, right? So you try to connect it with the forms, their financial performance and all. Yeah, interesting. So we have in my country, Nepal, there's several good papers published here. So probably you can also find them online. I know some of them, and if you want, I can help you out sometimes, probably through PIEMR now, okay? So here, yes, since we are very limited time, ma'am, so we are not making much comment on right now. Okay, so Kathy ma'am, we move to the next.
Yes, sir. So actually, we have one special request from Dr. Preeti Birla. If she can present her paper
sure.
for the
Why
other
not?
participants, can we just allow her?
Okay.
Okay, so Dr. Preeti Birla, ma'am, are you there in the session?
I was told by Amitabh sir also. Okay, yes. Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Yes, I'm there. Good evening, namaste. And hereby I'm presenting my paper and sharing my screen. I hope it's been shared now.
No, ma'am, your screen is still not visible. I have one thing to add on here. So the serial number of the paper is not in the evaluation sheet. So I'll just repeat the serial number of the paper. It is IC 205. Okay.
Is it being shared, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, it's there.
Wait a moment.
Arhan sir and Aarti,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah, I will make note of that. And this presentation is not in the form of PowerPoint slides, right? Yeah. It is.
Sir, it's wrongly been shared. I'm just working on it. I'm just working on it.
All right. Kathy, ma'am, could you notify me which one, the added one?
205, sir. It was not there in the evaluation sheet which I sent.
Okay, I see.
205.
205. Okay.
Yes.
So it is by Preeti Birla, ma'am. Okay.
Yes, sir. And the topic is impact of social network on online apparel shopping.
Ma'am, my screen is got paused. Is it being shared?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, do one thing. First stop screen share and then try to share again.
Okay.
Kathy, ma'am, impact of the title.
Social network on online apparel shopping.
Social network. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, it's all fridged.
Ma'am, actually, you didn't send me the PPT as well. I am not having.
It's there. It's there. I have sent to you people.
So, Kathy, ma'am, we move to another presenter.
By the time you just take another presenter.
Yes, yes. So
I
we are
will
running short of
do
time.
the same. I'll do the same.
Okay.
Okay. So I would now request Khande Sadafun Nisa to present her paper on factors affecting employee engagement and empirical analysis of MSMEs in Kashmir. And the paper number is IC64.
Is it the new one? No,
No, sir, it is there in the earlier.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Kathy, ma'am,
Good evening,
I'm also ready.
everyone.
Afterwards, I'll be ready.
Okay, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Ma'am, is my screen visible?
No, ma'am, not yet. You will have to share the presentation.
Actually, I have already shared my screen, but is it visible now, ma'am?
Wait, ma'am. No, ma'am, it's not visible. If you want, I
just
can share your
give me. No, ma'am. Just give me 2 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Myself, Stapith Khande, research scholar from Desh Bhagat University. I'm here to present my paper that's related to factors affecting employee engagement and empirical analysis of MSMEs in Kashmir. I have prepared my paper with the help of my supervisors, namely Dr. Monica Bansal and Dr. Pooja. As we are running short of time, so let me give overview of my paper. Let me start with the keywords that I have used in my paper. You can see it here, it's employee engagement. The topic that I have chosen for is small and medium scale enterprises, and the factors that I have taken are basically organizational, financial, motivational, and personal. Now moving to the variables that I have used for my study, that are the motivational factors that we can use to motivate our employees so that they can get committed or they can get engaged towards the enterprise. And the motivational factors that I have taken from is Abraham Maslow's motivational theory. Coming to other factors, that's organizational factor. I have taken these factors from theory of Max Weber. Coming to personal factors, again from Sigmund Freud, and growth factors from Adam Smith. Besides these factors, I have also taken one of the important factor, that is financial factor, and with that I have related it with employee engagement and employee performance. Like I have taken all those factors and how these factors have impact our employee engagement, and in a long run, how this can improve the performance of our organization. Now, one and the most important thing is, if we are carrying a research, then first of all, we have to look at the research gap, because gap is something which allows us to go on with the study, go on with the further research. Gap is something which shows us what is lagging and where we as a researchers are supposed to go further. So
Ma'am,
in my research,
could you highlight your gap instead of defining it?
yes, sir. I'm going to highlight that thing only. Research gap is, as basically I hail from Kashmir, and what I have seen from various literatures is that employee engagement is talked very well by many researchers, but linking employee engagements with small and medium scale enterprises, especially in Kashmir area, and to be more precise, in Pulwama area where I am from, basically, I have seen limited research on that area. So that was the thing that compelled me to come up with the research so that I can link the topic that is already in, no doubt, that is already in use. But I tried to connect that topic, that is employee engagement, with small and medium scale enterprises in Kashmir, because Kashmir is that area from where we have limited research from. SMCs are facing a lot of problems and there is very limited research related to that. So I thought of coming up with the topic that links employee engagement with SMEs of Kashmir. So this is the gap that I found. And now looking at the hypothesis, I came up with the hypothesis that either there is significant influence of these factors on employee engagement, or there is not any significant influence of these factors on employee engagement. Whether there is influence or there is not, I will be discussing that in my result and discussion part. And the objective I am carrying out is to study the various factors affecting employee engagement, in which I have covered financial growth, organizational and motivational. That is all the factors I have covered in my study. Now, nature of the study, that is totally descriptive, because in this study I have, in the end, I have described some factors that influence employee engagement. Sample design, I have selected 68 employees from different medium and small scale enterprises that are operating in Pulwama, Srinagar and Anantnag districts of Kashmir. And the tool for data collection that I have used is questionnaire. And besides that, I have also selected face-to-face interviews with some of the employees that are involved with small and medium scale enterprises. And the tool for data analysis I have used is factor analysis with the help of one and important software, that's SPSS. Now coming to the result and discussion portion. In my analysis, I used principal component factor analysis, and in that factor analysis, I came up with 6 factors. 9 items were selected for factor 1 that I titled as compensation and rewards. Likewise, 8 items for factor 2 that I titled as growth and development. 3 items were selected for factor 3 that I titled as enterprise values, so on and so forth. I selected all these 6 items for factor analysis, and also to check the reliability and significance of my research paper, I used KMO and Bartley specificity test, and in which it is visible that KMO.
But you have 1 more minute to go.
Thank you, ma'am. KMO value came out to be 0.8 and Bartley specific test came out to be 1.05, which shows that my research or the study that I am carrying is significant. So if I continue with the discussion portion, what I found is that financial factors are the factors that likely affect the employees. That is, if I as a researcher, what implications I will suggest to small and medium scale enterprises is that they should go with the financial first. They should come up with the financial factors, then they should focus on other factors like growth, organizational, motivational. In my study, what I found is that, what I conclude is that financial factors are those factors that mostly motivate the employees so that they can get committed and they can get involved towards the organization. Thank you. This was all about my presentation. Any questions, please?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Any questions from the participants?
Sada?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. So I just would like to give small suggestions to you. I would like to do a bit of rework on your research methodology, because when you're talking about interview and Likert scale, both things are total different things. So be clear about, are you doing a qualitative or quantitative study, right? The sample size is definitely very low, and it will definitely have very it will be very difficult for you to publish a paper with 68 sample size. So just try and rework on the sample size, try and improve it. And when we talk about the finance, I don't feel that there is any significant contribution is there any other factor you come out? If you're conducting some interview, definitely you must have found out something else.
Yeah,
rather than finance, there might be something, like mental satisfaction or something else could be there.
Ma'am, I have already talked about all the factors, but what I highlighted is that when I came up with the results, my results show that financial factors are something that basically motivate the employees. Like if we offer compensation, if we offer rewards, if we offer fringe benefits to our employees, that is something that motivates them and keeps them involved.
Yeah, I got your point. But I think that is the motivation of most of the employees. What is new in your study? Then you need to, I think, rework a bit, maybe collecting more sample size. You may come up with more results. So just try and implement that. Right? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. So thank you, Sadaf, ma'am. Wonderful job you have done. Yeah. Okay. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much.
Best wishes and congratulations. Okay. No comment for here.
Thank you so much.
I share the comments provided here by Adati ma'am. Okay. So congratulations and try to improve the things. Again. Okay. Okay.
Sure,
ma'am. Next one, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all the panelists. Now, can I request Dr. Preeti Birla to present her paper now?
Yes, I'm trying, but I'm not being able. Yes, now I'm being able. Is my screen visible?
Ma'am, you have started the screen sharing, but it is yet not visible. You'll have to stop sharing it once and then again try doing that.
I think it's shared from my part. It's shared.
Ma'am, please stop screen sharing once and then reshare it. Sometimes it happens because of the technical glitch.
Khyati, what's the paper number? If you can help me with that.
IC 205. Ma'am, this paper is not in the evaluation sheet, so you'll have to add it yourself.
Is it been shared, ma'am?
No, not yet.
Not yet, ma'am.
Madam, I have
ma'am,
sent.
can we move to the next one?
Yes, sir.
Khyati ma'am, text me your email ID. I'm just sharing my PPT with you as well.
Okay, ma'am, I'll do that. So next we have Saeed Asaf Mendi, and the serial number of the paper is IC 69, and the topic of paper is linking entrepreneurial orientation dimensions to entrepreneurial intention, role of openness to experience as a mediating variable. Sir, please proceed with your paper.
Yes, ma'am. Let me share my PPT.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is Syed Asif Mendi, research scholar from Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar University, Lucknow, presenting my research work on the title Linking Entrepreneurial Orientation Dimensions to Entrepreneurial Intention, a role of openness to experience as a mediating variable. As we all know that entrepreneurship is always being considered as the national asset to boost the economy of the country. But this field of entrepreneurship is substantially dependent.
Mr.
Yes, sir?
Syed, could you go down to your problem statement, not the variable definition now, since we are running out of time? Yeah. Okay. Research gap. Okay.
Because, sir, this field of entrepreneurship is substantially dependent on the intentions of the individual, and the intentions of the individuals does not work in isolation, as highlighted in the theory of planned behavior, because there are some antecedents or factors that play a crucial role in making intentions of the individual to go for anything like making a new business venture, etc. So based on the theory of planned behavior, we have proposed a model which is now on the screen. When it comes to entrepreneurial orientation, this construct is studied at organizational level, and there are very few studies which I found in a review of literature that studied this construct at individual level. So we have decided to study this construct at individual level, and this construct consists of different dimensions, and previous studies have studied this construct as a unidimensional construct. So based on these gaps, we have proposed this model and decided to examine the EO dimensions with the intentions of the participants, as well as we have decided to explore the role of openness to experience, which is a personality dimension, as a mediator. These are the hypotheses of the studies. We hypothesize that all the dimensions of EO are significantly related with the intentions.
Okay, hypothesis, you can you can skip it. Next one.
Okay.
Methodology.
Coming on the methodology, we have adopted a causal research design to conduct the presence study, and as far as talk about the sample design, we have the study is based on the responses from 164 respondents after the cleaning of the data through SPSS, and we have used a standardized questionnaire to collect the data, and to measure the construct, we have adopted different scales from authors, which we found in previous literature. And for the data analysis purpose, we have used for testing the hypothesis, we have used multiple regression analysis and SPSS macro for testing the mediating hypothesis. Coming on the results, during the analysis, it is found that all the dimensions of the EO construct are significantly related with the EO intentions of the respondents. Whereas when we talk about the mediating analysis, only one dimension, that is risk taking, it is significantly related with the EI dimension, but the remaining two dimensions of EO are not working as a mediator because these are insignificantly related. And coming on the discussions section, so based on the theory of planned behavior, we have proposed a model, and analysis of the study justified the legitimatization of the theory of planned behavior. And further, the results indicate that individuals high on EO dimension are likely to be creative in doing their work, intellectually curious, or always fond of new skills and knowledge, and open-minded. Whereas openness to experience is the most strongly correlated personality trait in the Big Five model in predicting the intentions of the respondents. Furthermore, it is also correlated with the EO dimensions. If we talk about the implication and significance of the study, there is a scarcity in the literature to study EO at the individual level. So we have studied this EO dimensions at individual level and links it with the openness to experience intention. Whereas this research study would contribute in developing the policymakers, the programs, the educational programs are compatible with the personality of the individual. And if we talk about the conclusion and limitation of the study, one of the main limitation which I found, which I personally feel that in my research work, is that this model could be extended through adding some exogenous or endogenous variable, or adding some moderators and mediators that could be better for future research work. This is all I have to present. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Syed. Thanks for presenting within the stipulated time. Okay, Kathy, ma'am, please open the floor.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. So now the floor is open for the question answer session. Any participant who is willing to ask question can please proceed. I guess again we have
no. So we have to move to Arati, ma'am, once again. Yes.
I think Syed, he himself pointed out my points. Like definitely he need to add something to this existing model. Work on the theory, I guess that's a better way, because this is how you can link your paper with a theory, and that is the trend which many of the researchers are following. And in entrepreneurial studies, this is definitely very much needed. So my best wishes to you, Syed.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Syed Ashif. So you are with Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar University,
yes, sir.
Right? Wow, wonderful.
University.
Okay, wonderful. So actually, my suggestion is like, yes, you can probably, so I guess you are doing a PhD, right?
Yes, sir. Pursuing initial phase of my PhD research.
Right, wonderful. So let me tell you, one of my PhD scholars also has done PhD in the similar topic that you have chosen here. So probably after having done your PhD, why don't you start cross-country research with my PhD scholar? He has already been awarded PhD scholar. Okay, so
that would be really great, sir.
Yeah. So since we are here in the international conference, so it is the best forum to develop the collaboration and all, you know, cross-country research opportunities. So probably please be in contact with me. So he has already been awarded the PhD in this entrepreneurial intention and all those things, you know, were very, very well done. So probably after having done your PhD, you can start doing a cross-country study. So that will be really very good. Okay. So sure, that will be a landmark in the days to come. All right. My best wishes to you. Thank you. Yeah. Over to Kathy, ma'am.
So now again, I'm moving forward to Dr. Preeti Birla. I'll be sharing the PPT now. So ma'am, please just let me know when do I have to change the slide, right ma'am? Okay. And do take care of the time limit. We have just
surely I have started my timer, stopwatch. So don't worry on that. Good evening, namaste, one and all dignitary and respected members present here. I'm very much apologize for 2 attempts which I have started but not been able to present. This paper presented is based on social network and online apparel shopping. Apparel being the personal involvement factor in the personality and the people, and especially in all male, female, kids and every category. In the initial of my PhD, I have started it with apparel, and apparel being a category where the reference and all those factors are very much important. So there I have taken the social network, and ma'am, please go on to the research gap directly. So the dependent variable here is the online apparel shopping, and independent is the social network community. Ma'am, research gap, this is the independent one. Research gap, the fifth slide. And lots of foreign literature and all those in India as well has been conducted and done this study on social network. Whenever we buy clothes, normally people take the reference from others, and the salesmen and all those are also very much important. So this study, to take out this, I have conducted this study in the Rajasthan that time and extended it to as well. In the pandemic time, this social network as well has given a big boost to this. As of now, I'm in Nepal. So here also I will develop this model, and I'm into developing this. So here also this cross culture and cross country kind of thing I will be conducting in future. Later part after my finishing this 5 minutes, I'll be definitely talking about the online shopping and the rest of the things here in Nepal as well. Ma'am, directly please move on to the result part. In the other studies, if we see that I have taken the 394 sample size and the snowball sampling, because the shopper who they are online shopper and specific who they are apparel. It was bit tough to take with, so snowball sampling has been taken. And the analytical tool I have used is correlation and regression. Here we can see that in the result part, those results which are very much synced in foreign context, that correlation, yes, people take the opinion from social network, but they really, please ma'am, Kathy ma'am, if you can move to the this result table and implication and significance. But there is no as such lots of this relation developed. There is no significant effect of online apparel, this shopping and social network community doesn't impact that in Rajasthan sector. It has been found. So yet people are taking the opinion, yes, they are going through this social network community, referral codes and different reference and referral codes are very much prominent, but yet these are not putting that much important in Rajasthan sector. The study has found the same, which result is not very much sync with the other part of the major studies in this apparel aspect done from the different authors and prominent paper researchers all over the world. So this result of my study is not very much sync and promising to this. The reason behind it is yet the apparel is not that much preferred category in the online due to the touch, feel, and hear aspect. So to move on it with Myntra and other Lenskart, these people, Myntra especially in the apparel sector, has started the virtual kind of thing. Certain malls as well, they have these virtual mirrors. So there, without wearing, people can see their fetiquities, how they look upon. So yet for another 5, 7, 10 years, this is going to be a hot cake because pandemic has also boosted a big fire on it, this particular online and online apparel shopping. So now I'll be moving on to some categories where the kids in this pandemic time, upbringing and upgrowing kids who they have purchased, their parents have purchased this apparels from online shopping and online sites. So how they are doing this and what to extent social network is impacting there, because in the male female category it's not that much impacting. So future research, I'll be doing the cross country kind of here in Valley and in Jaipur city, especially two different city and maybe youngsters and the kids category as well, their parents experience. So with this note, I finish up here. Thank you.
Kathy ma'am, please open the floor and then we'll call upon Arati ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So again, the floor is open for question and answers. Okay, so anybody willing to ask?
We can see Sushil Awale, sir, has raised his hand.
So thank you, Arhan Stapith, sir, Professor Arhan Stapith. Actually, I have given a like button to save the time.
Okay, sir. So
thank you. Well done, Dr. Preeti.
Thank you, Awale sir. Because already I have taken 14 valuable seconds of the all one and prominent members here. So that way around, I saved my time.
Okay, for the privileged reason. Okay, so
I'm
thank
so
you,
sorry, sir.
Preeti ma'am. Yeah, thank you. We really love the research in the area of marketing. So my colleague from Nepal, Sushil Awale sir, is also from the marketing domain. So we really appreciate it. Okay, thank you so much. So we'll move to Arati ma'am now.
Thank you, Preeti. I have not read your paper, but I just have a small suggestion. Why don't you extend it to e-word of mouth, your research?
Because, yes, it's there, Aarti ma'am. I have alongside to this social network, I'm working on this virtual try-on and e-word of mouth, as well as the gender biasness in the virtual try-on. So these 3 and 4 were the major factors. As of now, I have presented due to the time constraint and all those things. I am already submitting 2-3 papers in this conference itself.
So you can also include, like customer co-creation. That could be something very good addition to it.
Definitely, I will jot it down. But yet in Nepal, the virtual try-on and social network, those phenomena are not that much famous with. Yet the infant stage, the online apparel shopping is here. And recently, Daraj has got a big, 2-3 years it's been. So Daraj is one of the popular site here. And Flipkart and this Myntra, they have through this Sasto deal, they are yet entering into the Nepal. Okay. So customer co-creation, one point you have said, and e-word of mouth. I have rightly noted down.
Yeah, fine. Let me go through the paper just in case if I have any comment, I'll mail it to you.
Definitely. I request Stapith sir and Aarti ma'am, if possible for you people, and nothing as such, please share your email ID and mobile number if possible, so that I can get connected with you. Thank you so much.
Sure, sir. I'll share my contact email address with Kathy ma'am and Amitabh sir. Sure.
Surely.
And I'm also publishing a paper on customer co-creation very shortly. It should be published. Then once this get published, I'll let you know.
Definitely, I will share.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Kathy ma'am, so can we move to the next presenter?
Yes, so next we have Mansi Dangi. And the serial number of paper is IC91, and the topic is an analytical study on the response of consumers to digital marketing with special reference to Gwalior region. Mansi Dangi, are you here?
Yes, yes, ma'am. 1 minute. Ma'am, my screen is visible.
No, your screen is not yet visible. Yes, it is visible.
Ma'am, 1 minute. Good evening, everyone. This is Mansi Dangi, research scholar from Jivaji University. First of all, I greatly appreciate the opportunity given to me to present the paper here. And the topic of my paper is an analytical study of the response of consumer to digital marketing with special reference to Gwalior region. I will leave this introduction part, directly come to the problem. The purpose of this study is to see the response of the consumers towards digital marketing and what they are facing problems and how they are saving their money. And move to the objective. The main purpose of this research paper is to study about the digital marketing in association to consumers and to know whether they are saving money while using digital marketing or not, and also to compare the expectations and experiences through digital marketing. Um, let's move to the hypothesis. The role of digital marketing in saving money of consumer is significant. Second one, there is no significant difference between expectations and experiences of consumer from digital marketing services. Here are some limitations of this paper. The study is confined to 30 respondents only and from Gwalior region only, and the study is confined to the customer of 30 to 50 years age group. I will leave this review of literature. Directly come to the research methodology. As we all know, this is called the blueprint of the whole research work. In this research, I have taken the survey method is used. The sample consists of 30 respondents who are using digital marketing in Gwalior region, and a self-made questionnaire is constructed to fulfill the objectives, demand of objective and hypothesis. Directly come to the interpretation and analysis. In this table, I have categorized the respondent in 3 levels, and on the basis of this, I have concluded that the number of respondent. I have concluded that the respondent have digital marketing, which help them to save their money. And on the basis of this second table, I concluded that there is no significant difference between expectations and experiences of consumer from digital marketing services. The findings of this paper, the role of digital marketing in saving money of consumer is significant. And the next one is there is significant difference between expectations and experience of consumer from digital marketing services. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Thank you for presenting within this stipulated time. Kathy, ma'am, please open the floor and then we move to Arati, ma'am.
So participants, if you are willing to ask question, please ask.
Kathy, ma'am, could you let me know the number of this paper? IC91, is it?
Yes, sir.
Is it IC91?
Yes, sir. IC91.
Okay, okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay. So Mansi, I have quick, suggestions. You need to definitely. I think this is something which you are presenting for the sake of your PhD. The sample size to rework. You need to define like why only 30 to 51. The sample size. Are you planning to include the other other age category as well, or you are limiting yourself to 30 to 51?
Okay.
So you need to define. So if you are working on all age groups, then it is fine. But if you are working on particular age group, then you really need to work on this. Why you're working on this, maybe, right? Yes, and yes. I'm really unsure about the self-made questionnaire. Because why self-made questionnaire? And they might be, you should be able to, do some EFA after that. You need to validate your questionnaire. It can be a long process, but somehow it may make a good contribution just in case if your questionnaire works well in our society. So self-made questionnaire could be a very risky task, but try and work on including some standardized scales if it is possible. And if self-made, you need to validate that. So it can be 2 steps.
It is validated. Ma'am, it is validated by my guide.
No, it doesn't work that way, ma'am. So
okay, ma'am. Okay.
It is validated, but validation is done on the basis of the respondents, like what responses you get, and on the basis of that, you do the statistic analysis, and then you can validate it. You have to apply EFA. So it's a long journey, right? So it's not key. You feel that this question has come to your mind and you just wrote it down, not on the basis of that. You need to work on the standardized scale. There are a lot of researchers who have already worked. So do, like rigorous literature review. First step, then find out why you have taken this. It can be a combination. It's a very deep, like questionnaire making itself is a very, very big task. It takes long, right? So my best wishes. You really, really need to work a lot on this. It's at very, very initial stage.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Arati ma'am. Yes. Congratulations, Mansi Dangi ma'am. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
My best wishes. Yeah, of course, the questionnaire issue that has been raised here really need attention. Probably one step towards it could be the preliminary stage is to test your questionnaire through the pilot test. That could also be one, incipient step. Okay, then after EFA and all those things are there. All right, all the best, and probably the best advice for you is like you do rigorous literature review, and then you'll get hold of some paper that would provide you with the questionnaire, already validated questionnaire. Okay, my best wishes to you. Okay, over to Kathy ma'am.
Okay, so next we have Ankit Singh Rajput. Can we confirm if Ankit Singh Rajput is here in the meeting? I think he is not there in the meeting. And next we have paper from Dr. Sandesh Mahajan. Is Dr. Sandesh Mahajan in the meeting? I think he is also not there. So next we have paper from Himanshu Dhar Pathak. Again, he is not there. So next we have paper from Lily Vats. Is Lily Vats here? Please confirm if you are there. Am I clearly audible?
Yes, you are.
Next we have paper from Shilpa Rathore. Is she here in the meeting? Again, next we have paper from Sunil Lama. So is Sunil Lama here in the meeting today?
Ma'am, please repeat the name of the presenters.
Ankit Singh Rajput, Dr. Sandesh Mahajan, Shambhavi Salecha, Himanshu Dhar Pathak, Lily Vats, Shilpa Rathore, Sunil Lama. So we have Lily Vats in the waiting room.
Lily Vats.
Yes.
I have admitted into the room. Lily Vats. So probably this is the last one. Yes. Lily Vats is there. Yeah. So can we have Lily Vats right away now, because we are running out of time? So
yes, sir.
Yeah, we can let him present. Kathy ma'am.
Yes, sir, I will be sharing the screen.
Okay.
Lily Vats, please confirm if you are there in the meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so are you ready for the presentation? Shall I share your paper?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Kathy ma'am, what is the code of this paper? IC?
IC 266.
266. Oh yeah, it is already here. Okay, okay. What's the title?
Title
Macroeconomic variable.
Variable and NSE sector.
Okay, please go ahead quickly.
Okay, good evening, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to present my paper. The title of my paper is Macroeconomic Variables and NSE, that is National Stock Exchange. Ma'am, please next slide. Basically, stock market plays an important role in determining the growth of the economy as well as the fall of the economy.
Please go to the problem statement and objectives of your study.
Okay, so basically, I here discuss about the effect of inflation and the effect of exchange rate on NSE. So here in this study, inflation and exchange rate are the independent variables, whereas NSE is the dependent variable. So if I'll talk about my RM part, that is result part, ma'am, please show it. RM part, yes. Descriptive statistics of NSE. So here we can see that the average price return of NSE Nifty is 0.07, which is the deviation of 0.15 of the skewness. It shows the negative result, that is minus 1.10. It shows that the left side of the banking, this NSE is longer and fatter than the right side. And here the value of kurtosis is below 3. And therefore, the Nifty is normally distributed and the values lies about to mean. So here we have discussed about the minimum as well as the maximum value. Ma'am, please next slide. This is the descriptive statistics of inflation. So here the average inflation index is 133.46 and the volatility rate is 37.87 and the skewness value show here is positive and it is the most value of this value concentrated on the left side of the mean and the extreme value is on the right side. So here we can see that the kurtosis is in negative and the inflation is normally distributed. Next, ma'am, please, exchange rate. Exchange rate. Yes, the average value of exchange rate here is 47.65 and its volatility is 6.16%. And the skewness shows here is the negative value. It indicates that the most of the values are concentrated on the right side and extreme values are on the left side. And the kurtosis here is positive, that is 4.79. It indicates that an extreme value lies in the right side. Ma'am, please next, correlation matrix. The next test we did here is the correlation matrix. And the correlation is significant at 0.01 level. And the correlation matrix basically explains that the value is less than 2. So here, if we talk about this figure, then there's no possibility for arising multi-collinearity among the independent variables. Ma'am, regression results. In this, we can observe that the inflation is negatively influencing the price return of NSE Nifty. And basically here the negative coefficient is minus 0.003 of its value, and that is minus 1.358. It basically shows that inflation hike as a negative impact on the price return of the NSE sector. Another factor taken for the story is exchange rate, which gives positive coefficient on price return of NSE sector. It indicates that if exchange rate appreciates against the US dollar, the return of NSE in India is getting increased. The value of R square here is 0.438. That is low. It is the percentage of variance of dependent variable explained by the independent variable. And if we talk about this in percentage, then it is 43.8%. The value of Durbin-Watson states for dependent variable is 3.105, and mainly the value lies between 1.5 to 2.5. Thus, we can say there is no autocorrelation exists in this study. Ma'am, conclusion part. Last slide. In this study, what I have observed that there is significant relationship exists between the price return of NSE and two macroeconomic factors such as inflation and exchange rate. And here I can conclude that in order to improve the index value of this NSE, it is necessary to manage or to overlook the another macroeconomic factors that effectively affect the NSE sectors. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Kathy, ma'am, can we open the floor?
Yes, sir. Yes, now the floor is open for question and answers. Please, anybody who is willing to ask question, please.
Meanwhile, ma'am, please make sure if we have a few more presenters to accommodate. Do we have more to accommodate?
Make an open announcement here. If there's somebody who
or
is
otherwise,
here to present their paper, please let me know. Otherwise, I think we are
we'll
done with
call
the
it today.
today.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
If not, then we'll call you today. It's been a very long one. Everybody
Yes,
must be very tired by now. Okay, it seems no question from the floor. Probably I would take the chance to speak first this time around. Okay, Lily, are you doing your master's or what?
Sir, I have done my master's.
Okay, so what you've been doing now?
What I am doing right now?
Right, yeah.
Sir, I'm pursuing a PhD from
wonderful.
the same institution. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, congratulations. Oh, well, since you have worked in this area, very interesting area, of course, here in Nepal also, we have so many research works in this area I have come across. I'm wondering if you have reviewed the literature that has allowed you to use this type of the methodology, I mean, the analytical tools that you have applied here. I'm a bit confused about this, whether you've been, really doing this based on some authentic research paper published in top journals, or you just did it without the one. Can you answer me this question?
Sir, please pardon. I'm not getting what you exactly
So the
want to ask.
analytical tools that you have used here separately, and you are also talking about the multicollinearity, just on the basis of your correlation matrix, you argued that there is no multicollinearity. That is one point I couldn't understand, number one. Number two, you are also talking about DW test, Darwin-Watson test, okay?
Yes, sir.
On the other hand, you've been showing us Darwin-Watson test, and you interpret else. So then it has to be consistent, okay? That is the suggestion. And coming to your regression table also, regression analysis, I advise you to work a little more on the interpretation, So sometimes, you just get the interpretation from what others say, and that might not be authentic sometimes, so you come up with the validated interpretation sometimes. That is very important.
Sure, sir.
At this stage when
We'll
you're
take care
doing,
of this.
you've
Sure,
been,
sir. Thank you so much for your suggestion.
Right. Sometimes you have to be a voracious reader, just not echoing what others say, sometimes. So probably you discuss with your supervisor. That will be very useful. Okay, it's very interesting. And okay, one more point I would like to ask you is, like, have you limited your study only to this inflation and all? So there are so many other things, like have you ever thought of using these efficiency, market efficiency test also, like EMH,
So surely I'll use this. Right now
EMS,
I haven't done.
Yeah.
Market
So
emissions.
semi-strong
Okay.
form, any weak form test. So integrate them. It will really make your study worthy
Sure, sir.
the days to come, right? So that will be really useful for the policymakers not only in India, but also entire South Asian subcontinent, or maybe for the world. So then we'll remember Lily as the contributor. So congratulations.
Sure.
All right.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so
okay.
much.
So may I request Arati ma'am for comments?
I just would like to say best wishes for your research. I have given very useful inputs to you, and I'm sure you should be able to incorporate them. And research is not only about writing papers. There are a lot of things which is there. I think you are at very initial stage. You really need to work on this. You're on the right track, and I'm sure in very safe hands, of course, over there. So my best wishes to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, good. Kathy ma'am, it seems no more presenter.
Yes, so I think this is it from our side, but still I'll once more make an open announcement that if anybody is yet left to present their paper, please come forward. Otherwise, we will just call it off. And with the permission of the session chair, we will move towards the winding up of today's session. Can we?
Oh, yeah, sure. Sure. All right.
Yes, sir.
So thank you very much. So shall I?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So since we are running out of time, we'll make it very short. Today we have several scholarly papers, both from the erudite scholars and budding researchers. So I'm very happy to be here to see budding researchers do their presentation and come to this international conference with this level of confidence is really commendable. And I'm also very happy to see Prestige Institute of Management and Research organize this type of international conference regularly without any pause. It's so regular, and it is something very, very appreciable. So I would like to clap PIMR for that. Really wonderful. So I know so many international conferences that really make news headlines, but they could not regularly organize it. But I really appreciate PIMR for regularly organizing it, and it's something we call, the commitment in the real sense. It's wonderful. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you. So I've been to Gwalior twice and participated in international conferences online also. So it's been my fourth time, I believe, or even fifth. I'm a bit confused anyway. So, but I've been a part of this family. And today I can see so many researchers here in this room. I really feel inspired myself, and the way the presentation have come today with this level of zeal, this level of enthusiasm and commitment is something that also energizes me to continue my research work also, even though I have already published more than 68 papers internationally, but still I feel, there is a long way to go for me also. And yeah, of course, the life itself is a never ending process of learning. So there is always next thing to learn. Of course, many of these papers are exactly in compliance with the theme of this year of the 13th International Conference. So Industry 4.0 and the sustainability issue is very, very pertinent and relevant today. I really appreciate it. So the paper presenters have done a wonderful job. They deserve big congratulations and my best wishes. And my very humble piece of advice is that they should continue with their research work and rigor and sincerity, very important. There is no shortcut in life. So rigorous research, rigorous literature review, and continuous research journey is something that really takes us to the destination. I really feel very privileged to be here chairing this session. So I would like to request now Arati Saini ma'am to speak a few words and inspire all of us.
So I think I can't say more inspiring than you. And definitely you have set the stage on fire, I guess I can say it in that way. And okay, I just want to share, like, I started my outstation first conference from Prestige Institute only. In 2017, I visited over here. Amitabh sir, I think he remembers me. So I was there in November and as well as in January conference. So there I started my journey, and after that, I never looked back. So here am I in front of you. I was expecting that I might be.
Ma'am, next time I would like to invite you for IC 2023. As IC 2023, I would like, I am actually organizing that particular conference in 2023. So please, you both are most welcome for came here, and hopefully the COVID protocol may possibly enable you all to came here and present that in particular conference physically.
Yeah, till last week I was sure that I will be coming, but my area is in containment zone. That's the reason I could not travel outside my place. So definitely I would have been there meeting you all in person and then having a cup of tea together over there. But we can't ignore this pandemic, and I'm happy that we all are safe at our home. And I think this is the right time for us to take up, like research and read a lot. This is the right time. I think those people who have a lot of pending work can finish in this 2-3 months. And I'm sure that after that, we all are going back to our universities, colleges. So just try and do research, and to the paper presenters, I've tried to give whatever valuable suggestions I could have, given to you. Based on my experience, based on quality of paper, what we receive from South Asia, since I'm the editor of South Asian Journal of Marketing, I see that the quality of paper really need to be worked a lot. And definitely whatever points, like what I tried, my level best, but due to the limitation of time, I could not give as much valuable feedback I could give, but the best I could do for you is that I'm available whenever you want to ask something. You can, organizer can share email with you, just in case if you want to get connected. But try and use this time more fruitfully, and my best wishes to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Kathy ma'am, so shall we call it a day?
Yes, sir,
but again, I have noticed Sushil Awali sir has raised his hand.
Professor Arhan, sorry once again. I was just saving the time with my like button. It was really nice. I enjoyed the session.
Sir,
all of you are really lively and excited. Thank you, all of you.
At the end of the session, sir, I would like to give a vote of thanks. I, Dr. Amitabh Maheshi, deemed it a great honor, privileged, and pleasant duty to propose vote of thanks on behalf of Prestige Institute of Management and Research. I am sure that the participant must have benefited by attending this conference, especially technical session 5, track 4. I would like to thank the panelists, Professor Arhan, Stapith sir, Dr. Arati Saini as session chair, and Manohar Manchester sir as keynote speaker for sparing precious time with us. I would also like to thank all the participants to present the paper at 13 IC PNGR conference. Hopefully, you all had a great time. Be safe. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Jai Hind. Thanks a lot.
Okay, so is it over, right?
Yes, sir, it's
Yeah,
over.
okay, happy ending, happy ending. Yeah. So looking forward to meeting you face to face, maybe in the days to come.
In the next.
Yeah. Well, I was effortful. Yeah. Amitabh sir, I was effortful to make it to Gwalior, but our government protocol did not allow me, basically.
I know.
Actually,
I know,
this year we have two Nepalese presenters here from my side. We are planning to visit all the way, but
I'm aware,
anyway.
sir. I'm aware, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Stay
Thank
safe.
you, everyone.